Recording in progress.
It's recording now.
Okay, all right, so it being 7 o'clock still, we will open the Conservation Commission meeting for December 11th, 2025, the last meeting of the year. We'll start with a roll call.
Richard Johnson is here.
Welcome, Richard.
Louis Puga.
Louis, good to see you. Mark LePage is here.
Michael Ryan?
All right,
Roger Trahan.
Nicole Sharamonte.
Matthew Stoltz.
all right, good. With that, we will open our first public hearing of the evening, which is the NOI for 444 East Central Street. Oh, hey, Chris.
Hey guys, good evening. I think we got AJ online as well.
Hey, AJ.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, first of all, we appreciate you guys sticking around last week through the ZBA situation. Anyway, we were expecting to present to you a little overview of what we're proposing for restoration, et cetera, here.
Yep.
So if that's still the commission's desire, happy to go through that. I put together just a quick little PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's what we were hoping to go through, Chris, so that would be great if we could do that.
I think I just need permission to share.
Go ahead.
All right, and let me go, hold on, wait a second. All right, can we see all right?
Yep, it's up.
All right, beautiful. So first off, just wanted to kind of touch on existing conditions again. I mean, I think we've spoken about this ad nauseum at this point, but the site, this is just a good image of the site. You can see obviously most of that right-hand side of the site is pretty heavily degraded, and even the left side a bit as well. East Central Street up at the north, and our stream flowing down through the center. Couple of photos again, you know, just basically stuff everywhere. Vehicles, machines, bricks, pallets, you name it, basically. We have a wide variety of kind of abandoned dumping piles, mostly fill. There's concrete and cinder blocks and all manner of debris mixed in there. So basically our restoration plan is comprised mostly of 4 parts primarily. Is removal of those abandoned dumping piles, cleanup of this contractor yard, management of invasive species, and wetland replication. So I'll take you through each of those quickly. First off is, it's kind of low-hanging fruit, but it's no small task. Removing these piles of waste, brush, fill, etc., that are, you know, they're mostly concentrated on that right-hand side of the stream. But there's some on the left side as well, and they're kind of just scattered about. This is going to be completed with machinery. It has to, and it's going to be accomplished before and or during our initial site work, site prep, grading, those types of things. And everything that's going to be planted is going to get top dressed with loam to prepare for that.
And you're taking all that stuff off-site, right?
Right, yeah. So this is all going off site. I mean, I suppose if we come across clean fill somewhere, maybe that could be reused, but the intention is for it to all go off site.
Yep, that's what I thought, yep.
Next is cleanup of our contractor yard that we've got here. All these vehicles, machines, machine attachments, pallets of bricks, they're all gonna be cleaned up, and they're all going off site in accordance with whatever regulations there are for those types of things. Again, this can be accomplished before and or with our initial site work, site prep, grading. And same here, top dress with loam and everywhere that's gonna get planted to prepare for those plants to go in. Invasive species management, we are sort of strategically controlling invasive species, mostly with the intent of protecting our restored areas and obviously improving the buffer in the resource area. Unfortunately, the site is awash in invasive, so completely eradicating them is really not feasible. But we have outlined an array of management techniques to knock those back, keep those at bay, certainly keep them out of our planting areas, and hopefully beat them back from where they are today. Main targets are Japanese knotweed, Phragmites, buckthorn, and bittersweet, which are, in my opinion, the 4 poster children of invasive plants of North America. Over on the right, we can see both knotweed and some frag along this stream here. The intent is for this to be primarily and likely entirely physical management, cutting, excavation. Some of this can be accomplished with site work, just with soils being removed, excavated, etc. A lot of it will just be kind of repeated cutting to keep it at bay. We did include some language allowing for herbicide use if we wanted to take a more targeted and direct approach, but I think the intent is for that to really just kind of be a backup or in case of emergency sort of thing. The intent is for it to be primarily all physical. And we've also, through some of the beta feedback we've gotten, it included some methods to limit potential spread of, vegetatively viable knotweed or whatever it may be. Lastly, we've got wetland replication. Under the Act, that we're not required to replicate for impacts to IBWs, but we are proposing to replicate for our impacts to IBWs at a 1-to-1 ratio. This comes in at about 7,100 square feet of replication. And effectively what this does is it takes a couple of little isolated pockets of wetland and replicates them adjacent to the BBW on site. This is in the southeast corner of the site. The intention is to reuse wetland soils from those impacted wetlands where possible, assuming that they are appropriate for use, they don't have invasive species in them, that sort of thing. Broadly speaking, and there's some nuance and certainly a lot of field judgment to this, the grading is designed to achieve groundwater within about 12 inches of the soil surface like we'd expect to find in any old wetland. There's language in there that requires inspection by the commissioner or agent before planting to make sure, grades are where they should be. We've got redox in the soils where we want them to be, and the planting stock looks appropriate. And then this area gets planted with native wetland trees, shrubs, and seed mix, over 100 individuals. And this is just the planting plan at the right. We've got things like swamp azalea, spice bush, winterberry, red maple, the usual who's who of native wetland species. And then lastly, we will be monitoring all of these items for 3 growing seasons. You will get out of this twice annual inspections and a year-end report to the commission. The main items, and there's more detail to this provided in the plan itself, but at a high level, we want to be evaluating the success of invasive species management, establishment of native vegetation, whether that's what we've planted or what might be growing on its own. Importantly, development of hydrology in the replication area to make sure that what we did is working and it's actually going to be a wetland at the end of the day. And then also a component of making sure soils are stable, we don't have erosion control issues, erosion control measures are intact where they should be. And ultimately, at the end of the day here, our goal is at least 75% cover of native species in all areas that are getting seeded and planted. A lot of these are kind of right around the buildings and sort of in some of our, I suppose, more resident accessible areas, but that also includes obviously, our the compensatory storage area up by the road, the wetland replication area down in the southeast, and everything in between. So at a high level, that's kind of what we are talking about here. I think you have about a 10-page restoration plan with all the details included, but that's the gist of it, and I'm happy to answer any questions that there might be on it.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Rico Lai, do you want to start?
Oh, I have no comments on the restoration plan.
Okay, all right. Chris, is there anywhere, I should know this, is there anywhere in the plans that show where all the plantings, all the native seed plantings are gonna occur?
Yes, absolutely. And forgive me, I don't have plans handy. The large plan set and the last 12 pages or so are all of the landscape plan sheets.
Okay.
So I'll give,
I can go back and find that. I should have looked at it, but just as you were talking about it, made me think about it, so thank you. I'll take it.
yeah, absolutely. I'll give it to him. Our landscape architect did an excellent job with no input from me, using a great native plant palette for the vast majority of the site. So yeah, plenty of native vegetation to be planted here all throughout.
Okay. And will there be provisions in the ongoing operations management plan for maintaining that and maybe signage for particular areas, especially the replication areas? Is that something you guys considered?
Yes, so that's kind of incorporated in our monitoring as part of this restoration plan. We also do have, I believe, the landscape plan spec signage to identify these restored areas. That's a requirement under 10.55, that these areas be demarcated and not altered in the future. And let me see if I can plan set up here just so we can
Yeah.
look at
Chris,
something together.
I actually have it in front of me. We have, within the landscape plans dated October 29th, invasive species management coordination plan, sheet number LO.
Oh, okay.
The signs are detailed there, as well as, where their locations are.
Perfect. Thank you, AJ. Okay.
No problem.
I can go back and take a look at it. All right, great. Just questions that popped in my head as we were going through that, so thank you.
Yeah, sure thing.
Anything else?
I just had a couple of questions, sorry.
No, yeah, absolutely, go ahead. Yeah,
So for the plantings, for the shrubs, I thought I read that you were only going to be using 1 to 2 gallon pots. Usually 3 gallon is the best option.
For the replication area, you mean specifically?
Yes, I believe
Or-
that's where it was stated.
That's probably our standard language in there. I think it's spec'd as minimum size. That's, it enables us to get, a large volume of plant material at a reasonable cost. I would, defer to AJ if we'd be willing to size that up to maybe a 3 gallon pot.
I think we would just, need to sort of comprehensively review conditions, proposed, in draft form, just so we could kind of determine whether that's something we could consider doing. Absolutely, we're willing to consider it.
Yes, because if you're using 1 or 2 gallon pots, then those plants are going to be, they're not going to be mature enough to be able to handle, establishing itself as a wetland area.
Yeah, we can certainly take a look at that. I mean, that seems to be something that we might be able to condition in here if that's the commission's desire.
And then I had another question about the flood storage. I know we're not talking about that tonight, but
Yeah, happy to address it though.
I thought I had read that something about that you were using the piles in your calculation for flood storage. Was that correct?
Yes, so this was a comment that was made by DEP and I think reiterated by Beta, that these piles that are present on the site here are, presumably and I think obviously not permitted to be there, and are occupying in the existing condition some amount of that flood storage capacity. So what we did was essentially we basically made an estimation and essentially connected the contour lines on either side of those piles calculated the volume of those piles that is currently present within the floodplain, and then subtracted that number out from our existing condition. So essentially, the existing flood storage number that we need to maintain in the proposed condition got higher. And the way that site grading was already working, we already were providing enough compensatory storage to account for that, even though that was essentially subtracted out of our existing conditions number for flood storage capacity, if that makes sense. It's a little, I know it's a little tough to connect the dots on that.
It is, and it really shouldn't be, because I think it should be pretty spelled out for us to be able to understand completely. And if the calculations are, if you're taking the piles out of that, then I believe the calculation should reflect that. And then we would be able to read that better in, you know, when we're evaluating the project.
Yeah, absolutely. The calculations do reflect that, and here, let me see if I can get it pulled up real quick. It probably will help you have something to look at.
If I could just jump in, I'm sorry.
Sure thing. Yeah, let me get this pulled up while you say something.
Unfortunately, we don't have our civil engineer, Allen and Major Associates on tonight. As we understood, we were kind of just more focused on the restoration plan. So the flood storage and all, flood mitigation plans relate to Carlton's domain from Allen and Major. So unfortunately, we didn't bring him tonight because we didn't expect to go through those types of questions. But Chris, go ahead.
I got it here. So, for example, this is one of our existing conditions in the floodplain exhibit sheet. And this is, there's one sheet for each contour interval because we need to address it at each contour interval. But for the sake of illustrating, our floodplain elevation is 271. And previously, this line had skirted around the edge of this pile here. We see these kind of tight contours underneath, that's the pile. So in the existing condition, we had less flood storage capacity previously before making this revision. And now, even though, our contour up here is 7 feet above the floodplain, this has been included in our existing calculation of flood storage. So this added something like, I think, 4,000 cubic feet to the existing flood storage number.
Yep.
And that has been incorporated and trickled down in all of the calculations for these things. And here in our kind of regulatory compliance narrative, and we do have flood storage volume. So in the south portion of the site, this number was something like 17,000 cubic feet in the existing condition prior to making those revisions.
Okay.
So what you did was subtract out the piles.
Exactly, yeah. I guess sort of added in that
'Cause you're
flood
gonna
storage
remove
that is
those.
currently occupied by the piles.
Right.
So with subtracting out those piles, as you say, we are still providing a net increase of almost 10,000 cubic feet of flood storage volume.
Just kind of estimating what's underneath them, taking the pile
So it's
out.
like it's not there.
Yeah.
Still got more coverage, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So at
Makes
this
sense.
point, we are modeling the existing condition as though those piles are not there.
Right.
Good.
Does that make sense, Nicole? Is that-
No, it does, it's just I read something that it was a little, way the language was written, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, it's an odd dynamic.
Mm.
Rick calculated.
That was a great question, and Chris, I'm sorry for doubting your.
That he'd have it. Carlton who? Come on.
Yeah.
Why do we even need Carlton? You got Chris. He's a jack of all trades.
Oh, good question. Any other? Okay.
He's almost a part of the commission. He's here every night.
Might as well be.
So I did have a relating to the flooding question, I know Carlton's not here, but it was something that, that was mentioned, I think, 1 or 2 meetings ago, that there was a change in the flood elevation. It was on the northern side of that site, It went
Right.
from 271.5 to 271 and 3/4 now. And according to Carlton, he said that it's still within the, limitation. Basically, it's under the limit of what the flood storage is up on that area there. I guess my question would be, prior to that, we had a whole presentation about the flooding areas at 3 points. We had the one on the north culvert, the southern culvert, and then down by the Northern Spire Road. So I don't know if you guys had a chance to perhaps revisit that information, especially from Bales and Associates, where Todd, was outlining in his memo that, these were the numbers for these 3 points, and I don't know if that still has been run through them as far as it's still okay, given that this was information after that was presented to us.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is up now, we're up in the north section of the site, and this floodplain elevation has been updated to 271.75. I believe somebody came across a typo in a survey measurement somewhere for an invert. And, they basically went back through, reran all the calculations with the updated invert information. And that's how we ended up with this slightly higher floodplain elevation. So all of our flood storage calcs have been updated to reflect that. Todd's analysis, as you mentioned, from Beals and Associates, has been updated to reflect that. And that was all submitted to the commission. So we are still, more than capable of providing an increase in flood storage capacity, and those models that basically, represent or, model how water flows in the proposed condition. They still work with all of our site grading, flood storage capacity, culvert capacity, et cetera.
Okay. Just wanted to see if it's still aligning with what was previously presented to us, and so it looks like it seems like that elevation keeps changing, doesn't go down, just goes up. So just want to make sure we're still tracking it.
Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we coordinate this with Beta, and we submitted that updated plan dated 11/3? And we did receive a response from Beta afterwards, indicating that what we provided was sufficient?
Yes, that is absolutely true. I can speak a little bit on civil design and that sort of thing, but the hydrologic analyses are definitely above my head a bit. Todd did update that report when we submitted that, and that has, been looked at by Beta, and I believe we are all set on that front. And apologize, I am scrolling and trying to find that specifically. And we can take a quick look at some of these tables. I won't be able to explain it as well as Todd might. But these have all been updated for the updated floodplain elevation.
Okay.
Yeah, we did revise the report that Beta indicated the comment. We revised the report, we resubmitted it to Beta, and I believe they did respond, and I believe they said, no further comment addressed.
Okay. Yeah, all right, thanks for that clarification. I'm just kind of going through the plans. Really, those, we were, I think it was one of the erosion control and site prep plans. They have a table here, it says sediment basin calc, and they have 3 columns here. The basin number, actually 4 columns. The basin number, the required volume, The provided volume. So I think just kind of just understanding this a little, there's, I'm not sure if you guys, it's on sheet C101 alpha A. So they have listed that the required volume is for, I think right here it has like number 2. So where these locations are designated, they have 3,240, and then you have a proposed volume of 3,252. So it's really a difference of what, like 12 cubic feet. With the other points, it seems like you're giving yourself a little bit more of a buffer, as far as like the cubic volumes. Is there a way to, say the sediments, and then you also have a note that they will inspect and remove and clean out these sediment catch basins. Seeing that we're having like frequent storms, do you guys feel comfortable with that number as far as it's on a bad rainy day, you might be reaching that limit, or if not, almost exceeding that, if that's not mitigated on time from one rainstorm to another. So I just want to make sure if you guys are looking at that number as well.
Yeah, so, and this came up in review, I presume by Beta. I thought it was Hancock for some reason, but I assume it was Beta. And I guess to take a step back, what we're talking about here is they're effectively temporary stormwater basins during construction.
Right.
The gist is that in the same way that a stormwater basin would function in your post-construction condition, these are temporary basins during construction to control those flows, allow some sediment to settle out, and it's just an addition to your standard erosion control measures like a wattle or a silt fence if you're in a town other than Franklin. So this was added through the review of these plans. They essentially model a storm. And off the top of my head, I am not sure which storm they are modeling, but that's where we get the required volume and provided volume. And I think probably the reason that those aren't a little bit oversized to give us a little bit more buffer room is because they are in these really tight areas up in the north, right along the streams here. So I'm sure that if there was the possibility to size them up in the same way that some of the others have been sized up to give a little bit more buffer space, they would have been. And so that's kind of where that comes from.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question a little bit. And again, I apologize, I can't answer it as thoroughly as the engineers might have been able to.
No, that's fine. I think I just kind of wanted to bring awareness to it, just seeing because and I understand that this is the construction phase of the project.
Right.
It's not, it's not the post. But really just by experience and also have a construction project right up my road, if these catch basins are not, regularly maintained, it could be a site where, you can get quite a bit of, ponding and it really doesn't work out, well when it comes to having equipment move in and out. So actually it amplifies it if you, because you have a lot of, dust and debris and whatnot. So I just wanted to see if you can take a look at that number, because we also, are concerned about the, not only the what happens after, but also during as well. So depending on what time of the year you're going to be doing this.
Yeah, no, we'll certainly make a note of that and just confirm that those are sized appropriately. I think, I do know that we've essentially gotten a clean bill of health from Beta on the stormwater review, and I will also just add, there will be a SWIP in place for this that will require regular inspections and regular reports to be generated based on those inspections. So, not only do we have the temporary basins and our, linear erosion controls that you'd see on your average site, they will also be inspected and reported on regularly, as, you know, an added layer of review and security there.
Okay. All right, thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, good questions. Anything else? Brigalai, anything from you that you want to add?
Nothing from me.
All right. So, looks like you guys are now going to be next in front of the ZBA on the 23rd, that's what I see on their website.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're still awaiting their decision on the project and on the bylaw waivers. So we're at a little bit of an impasse until we get those decisions. So at this point, we'd be looking at continuing to our next meeting on the 15th of January. So we could have the ZBA decisions and then move forward from there.
So certainly, could I ask, Mr. Chair, given the circumstance of this project that we're going through sort of a hybrid permitting approach where we're doing the ZBA simultaneously with our notice of intent, the zoning board proposed decision has an enormous number of conditions, including special conditions. We're anticipating, you know, a similar number from the order of conditions. So given the special circumstances that, one, this is kind of a hybrid approach, and we're also reviewing the zoning board decision and conditions at the same time, and two, the sheer number of conditions that we're anticipating from both permits, we were really hoping that we could just receive a copy of draft conditions that we could review in advance of the 15th. I understand that's the next meeting. We understand and appreciate that it's your process to wait until the zoning board approval. I understand, and it's okay with us, but I would really like to be able to kind of continue pushing the decision or the conditions forward, especially making sure that I can check them out with my team, Carlton, Chris, everyone, and make sure there's no conflicts with the current decision I am looking at with the zoning board. So if it's possible, just to email over a draft copy, we would certainly appreciate that, and I think it would be very productive, so we could kind of keep pushing that ball forward until we get to the 15th.
Mark?
I see Brigalai's got her hand up. Go ahead, Brigalai.
Yeah. The only thing that I have to say with that is the commission hasn't even viewed the conditions, the draft conditions, and there are actually a few that just came up specifically through Commissioner Shiramonte, right, Nicole? That I have yet to add. So seeing them before the commission isn't actually procedurally correct. The commission will need to see their draft conditions first. You can talk about it on the 15th if that's where it ends up being, and then you can see them afterwards, if that suits you, Chair LePage.
Yeah, I think the challenge, AJ, is we've got a bit of a precedent here, right? And the timing's a little tough because we've got the holidays, so we understand the request, right? And we've all been trying to be thorough yet expedient, but just as I guess I'd call it procedural policy, we don't release conditions before we discuss them in an open forum in a meeting. And there's a few reasons for that. They can change, right? The conditions themselves, the number of them can be added, subtracted, the actual verbiage of the conditions. So it gets a little tricky if we get something out there and we haven't made it part of the public record. So understand your request, but that's how we've handled our process. That's why the precedent has always been maintained, and in this case, we really need to do that. It's a challenge because of the timing, but this would give us a chance to finalize them, particularly as we anticipate some information that'll impact these things coming out of a meeting on December 23rd, and then we're calling it what it is, headed right into the holidays. So you know, I'm not sure we'd really have anything meaningful before the 15th anyway, but that's just really the date we're going to need to stick with. Appreciate the ask, but that's kind of where we
Mark.
have to end up.
Are these basically off our standard conditions plus whatever we want to add down that
Yeah.
are special conditions?
Yeah, I think what AJ's asking for, and you can comment,
Right,
AJ.
just the special conditions.
Right, the
Yep.
special, not the one through.
Not the list that
Right,
we,
right, I
we
think,
picked from, it's just the ones that
Right.
would probably add, okay, well, we don't have a clue what those are gonna be right yet, well, we probably have a clue.
I'm,
I totally appreciate and understand your process and procedure and that's fine with me. All I would ask is if there is a copy available, before the 15th, it would be great for us to be able to review, so we're not reacting on the fly in real time. But I understand, so I'll stop talking. I said my piece, and I understand your process, so.
I mean, thank you for your understanding, and
I
certainly.
appreciate the consideration.
Yeah, we understand the ask, right? So, no issue there. So with that, any comments from the public? Anybody on Zoom there, Tyler?
They should use the raise hand feature to indicate they want to speak, so we can unmute them if anyone has.
Yeah, so if there is anybody on Zoom, you'd need to, I don't know if you heard Tyler, you need to actually use the raise your hand feature on the webinar. All right, with that, we'll take it as there's no comments, nobody in chambers. Okay, so with that, Richard, you want to give us a motion to continue to January 15th?
I'd love to.
All right.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 444 East Central Street to January 15th at 7:01.
Second.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue?
Continue.
Continue?
Abstain.
All right. AJ and Chris, thanks for the presentation, guys. Hope you have a good holiday.
Yeah, happy holidays to you all.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, commissioners. Have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Holidays. Take care. Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll open up the NOI for 260 Daniel Street. Oh, James, I should have recognized you. How you doing?
Not too bad. Sorry for missing the last appointment. I did try and get on the Zoom meeting, but
All right.
not too good with
Well,
computers.
glad you're here in person.
Yeah, I am too.
So any update as to
I've
what's-
been waiting, but last time we met, we were supposed to approve everything at the next meeting.
Yeah. we
You guys
had,
wanted to put it down on paper and everybody on the same page, and I had my equipment delivered over there, and
Yep,
I called up to see if I could start working. And I didn't want to start putting a shovel in the ground without the okay with you guys.
all right. Bricolai, anything you want to add before we?
I have, thanks, Chairman Page. I have nothing to add on this one. You can go through your conditions.
Yep, all right. So James, we've put some conditions together, right? So we'll read those. You can let us know if you have any comments or issues. It shouldn't be a surprise, right? It's all
No, I
stuff
think
we've talked
everything, we've pretty much talked about everything.
So, but if there is, you can certainly talk about it, and then
Okay.
we'll go to a vote, right? So, first off, and some of this is part of the process, right? But we have what we call findings pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetland Protections Act. Following a review of the above, a review of this notice of intent based on the information provided in this application presented at the public hearing, the commission finds that the areas in which work is proposed is significant to the following interests of the Wetlands Protection Act: public water supply, private water supply, groundwater supply, storm damage prevention, prevention of pollution, and protection of wildlife habitat. And then we've got some standard special conditions, 19, 20, 21, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 33, 34, 35, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 43, 44, 46, 47, 51. And then and this is what we want to talk about, James, is we have additional special conditions. So 52 is, and we talked about this, that you'd have a licensed herbicide applicator submit to the Conservation Commission Department an invasive species plan to be approved before March 31st, 2026, and before a certificate of compliance is issued. So, we're not gonna start doing the invasive species management until later in the spring, right? So this
Correct.
gives you till March. I know you're challenged with finding a licensed herbicide. So this gives you a number of months, almost 4 months.
Almost 4 months to find
Yeah,
something.
to get that done. So we thought that was pretty reasonable. And then 53, the applicant should have a licensed herbicide applicator execute and complete the invasive species plan submitted on or before March 31st by June 30th and before a certificate of compliance is issued. Say you got till the end of June to get the plan done,
Yep,
okay? And then applicant shall apply topsoil to any areas of the site where earthwork is being done or plantings made. And a recap of this should be submitted to the Conservation Commission Department for approval before the project receives a final certificate of compliance.
all pretty standard.
Okay, all right, good. So no questions on that, so you're good?
Yep.
So with that, Louis, you want to give us a motion to close the public hearing on the NOI for 260 Daniel Street?
I'll give you a motion to close the public hearing for 260 Daniel Street with.
Well, we don't have to do the conditions yet, just
Yeah,
closing the hearing.
close it.
Second on that?
Second.
All right.
Vote to approve. Vote to close.
Vote to close.
Close.
Vote to close.
Close?
Close.
Close?
Abstain.
All right. And then, Michael, you want to give us a motion to approve the NOI for 260 Daniel Street with conditions as stated?
I'll give you a motion to approve the NOI for 260 Daniel Street with conditions as stated.
Second.
All right.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve?
Approve?
Approve.
Approve?
Abstain.
All right. James,
Sounds
good
good.
job. We're done.
Get to work.
I'm
Are
going to
you
work.
gonna miss us?
No.
Don't take a break.
But we appreciate you coming in and closing it out.
And
Thank you.
thanks, and I apologize for last meeting for this.
No, we understand.
I did try getting on the Zoom meeting.
But thank you for working with us.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks.
Will that be online?
Uh,
You
We'll
have a
mail
copy?
you.
We'll mail you a copy.
Mail you the applicant and the applicant's copies once they're processed.
Thank you.
All right,
Enjoy
appreciate it. All right. With that, we'll open the public hearing for the NOI for Nicholas Drive Prospect Street culvert repair. Hey, Derek, how you doing?
Good evening, how are you?
Good.
So, since the last time I was here, it took about a week to meet with EDR, to have a formal meeting, to put out the entire scope between the town and the company, EDR. Took 2 or 3 days until after that for me to get the draft memo for what they were going to provide for services. And then in that memo, they requested 15 days to do their wetland survey. The wetland survey was done on December 5th. I met them out on site, and we discussed a number of different things. We met with the homeowner over at 12 Nicholas Drive. She gave us some historical information on where the water had reached, which was very helpful for me and for EDR. We discussed a number of different other issues with that culvert. So just to make you aware, we've also noticed that from Nicholas Drive, the catchment area that comes down, discharges in the general vicinity of that culvert, not at the culvert, but near it. And it appears that there's some outwash from some sediment that has accumulated in the catch basins, then over time lifted up and been discharged into the area. So we would like to address that as well, because it seems like there's some sediment that is built up in the area that we don't believe should be there. Does that make-
Where's the catch basin?
So the catch basins on Nicholas Drive themselves, they all connect to each other. And then there is a discharge pipe. If the culvert is situated here and Nicholas Drive is sort of a horseshoe here, the whole catchment area comes down and then it discharges right here. So if you're standing on the bridge looking upstream, diagonally to the left, you can see what appears to be a small beach, essentially, of sand, silt.
So this is a discharge point, and
Separate
everything,
from the initial issue, but was.
everything's coming down and, okay.
Correct, so that would indicate that we need to clean the catch basin more
Yeah.
frequently or put in a different treatment structure. And this is all gonna tie into a bigger problem. We indicated that there's an issue on the downstream side. There's a lot of things we're realizing with this culvert. On the downstream side, there was some work that was done a number of years ago. It was not done by my crew. It appears that there was some asphalt, something was repaired and there was asphalt placed on top. And what's happened is on the downstream side of the culvert, there's a series of granite blocks. Something happened at some point with that because they certainly paved over the top. And there is a sinkhole that goes down and spreads left and right, approximately 4.5 feet. So that needs to be repaired, which we are including with, we would like to include with this particular NOI, because if we do not repair that, there's gonna be continual washout. And it appears that when the last repair was made, which I am unaware when that happened, but whenever it happened, it seems that there was some washout in some other form or fashion. And behind the granite slabs was 1.5 inch stone. And what's happening now is the stone is washing out and it's being
So
deposited.
it's washing out between the cracks in the granite or underneath the granite?
Not cracks in the granite, between the slabs themselves.
Between the slab, not the crack, yeah, between the,
Correct.
some big,
So that's occurring. On the upstream side, what was also discussed was the fact that there are the two clay pipes, essentially, which in discussions with EDR indicates that at some point within the last 20 or 30 years, or 40, those pipes were put in for probably a similar issue that was encountered several months ago. And what that did was alter the mouth of the culvert and reduced the ability for the velocity and volume to flow through. We took a camera and somebody crawled inside the culvert. The culvert looks structurally sound. For the most part, they're still reviewing the footage and it's all coming in part of this NOI. There's one, because it's a granite, dry laid stone culvert. Of course, the granite isn't sagging because granite is granite, but it appears that one of the granite slabs underneath the road is not perfectly situated. With that, it seems that we are going to be filing, in addition to this one, that's the priority for the retroactive NOI, an additional NOI for doing some repair work to the culvert itself. There's been a process that was done by Maine Department of Transportation in 2018 where they essentially put a sleeve in. It's a box sleeve, it's not a pipe, it's a box sleeve and then it's grouted in between. In 2018 dollars, that was $800,000, so we presume that would be probably 1.1 or $1.2 million.
material?
That is an excellent question, and I asked that question. I believe it's a concrete material. I can't remember
I
off
was
the
just
top of my head.
curious.
My
Yeah.
guess, I said, what is it, like an epoxy or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
yeah.
I can definitely get that to you, and it might even be in the draft memo. I don't.
well, is it still in good condition, the sleeve, or you're saying no?
The
it's-
sleeve is fabricated to be inserted within the culvert
Yeah,
itself
right.
in order to
Kinda interesting,
extend the
right?
life by about
Well, usually you can use it, it's
40
a,
to 60 years.
a lot of times it's a diaphragm, you sit in there and then you shoot grout in around behind it and then you pull the balloon out.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's one way of doing it. I don't know if that's what they did,
I
but,
don't believe that's what they did. I think it was prefabricated.
so it's a prefabricated thing and then
That was my
Slip-
They
understanding.
slide it
slide it in and then,
It's a push and pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then shoot something in over around to
And
fill
then
in the
grab
voids.
So when they do that, it must reduce the size also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. However, with the way that the size was reduced with the two clay pipes that were put in approximately 30 years ago, we actually think it would increase the volume.
Oh,
So the
How
clay,
old is Nicholas Drive, do you know?
I believe it was built in the 90s.
Okay.
My assumption is some work was done around that time.
So it's 30 or 40 years old, that
Correct,
whole
yeah.
thing.
so the clay pipes would come out. The ins-
We're looking at many different options.
Okay, I was
because-
just curious,
because-
yeah.
No, because if the most, what appears to be the most fiscally responsible and environmentally sound course of action would be to do the sleeve.
Yeah,
If we're gonna have to redo that culvert completely, it's,
oh, yeah.
might be
That's all.
$5, $6, $7 million.
Oh, my gosh.
that's a
Maybe
big,
even 10.
Okay.
I'm not sure. So, but like I said, that is separate from the NOI.
so this is gonna be two-part. We got the original thing we're doing here, but you found a bunch of, that's
We-
gonna come in as another project?
Correct. We're we want to make the corrections that we need to make.
Yeah.
So we went out there on December 5th, which was one day after the due date was for getting the material for here, so that's why I don't have that. But we were out there, they had their whole team out there, 4 different members from their team, the wetland delineator, Colin, and the 3 other members. And we spent a couple hours down there, we were walking around this when we noticed the outwash that was there. And,
Surprise, surprise.
and that area is a particular spot in town where you basically have a 1.5-mile stretch that has no outlet other than Lake Street that goes into Bellingham, which concerns me for mail delivery, emergency services, school buses. We had a different issue on the other side of Prospect Street, which was handled differently, but even making the repair to that was significant, and that was a 2, 3, 4 day type of thing. So whatever we do, I want to get it super right.
Yeah.
And I want it to make sense, and I want it to last. So, like I said, we are working toward this NOI here, but we also know for sure that we need to do some additional work.
Yeah.
And
So for the original NOI, so we got our next meeting on the 15th, so we really love to have everything by the 8th.
I would too, absolutely.
Yeah, if
The
we
8th,
could
yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I've
so-
stressed to them the importance of it, and with the timing of, I'm not making an excuse, but with the meeting was on the 13th, it took about a week to really pin down the meeting for when we could meet with them to set the scope. And then we got the draft on the 26th, which was like one day before Thanksgiving, and then that date was set for the wetland delineation on the 5th, which was one day after this. So at least we have those components ready to go so
Right.
that they can do the work behind the scenes.
Right, that's.
And then the bulk of what I just spoke about, that's gonna be kind of separate, but I wanted to inform you.
No, we
That's
yeah,
good.
appreciate the heads up.
Yeah.
Good to know. That's what I was thinking. So it sounds like the field work was done, so they've got, you know, yeah, we understand the holiday, but they got a number of business days still that, yeah, we'd really like to get that by the 8th would be great. Because then we
Absolutely.
can go through it on the 15th, so.
Absolutely. And one more thing that I would like to bring up is that the DPW did a culvert assessment report in 2022. And there's a bottom 5 for culverts. So, separate from those 2 pieces that I already discussed, we're looking, we don't know how it's going to look just yet, but what we would like to do is, in some way, form, or fashion, decide the best approach, whatever way that's gonna be. I'm gonna use the term that we've been using, some sort of a blanket NOI for the bottom 5 culverts, so that when something else comes up, maybe we already have it delineated and surveyed, and if we need to do some work, it'll be in place so that we'll have that component done, and then it's gonna be a difficult thing because the stormwater budget itself is just over $1 million, and that includes payroll and things like that.
Yeah.
So if this costs $800,000, who knows what else? You know, we're working on a grant for South Street, but then there's a couple other ones that we really need to keep an eye on. But we do want to make sure that everything's going to be in order going forward for,
So you got another 5 suspicious ones?
there's a bottom 5, I'll put it that way.
Bottom 5. That's just the bottom, not the top 20.
What are the bottom 5? Or you'd rather not say?
No, that's all right. Maple Street's one of them. There's one on, Maple Street is, you know what, it's by Lydia Lane, but it's not right there. And then there's one on Elm Street, which is about 50 yards if you're going out of town before you get to the power lines.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically an 8-inch bell and spigot pipe that goes from one side to the other. South Street's the other one, Prospect Street's the other one, and I think there's 1 or 2 other ones that are.
So you're thinking maybe if you come in and describe those and get the paperwork all ready to go, then when you get ready to do them, you can go ahead and do them.
That would,
Can we do something like that?
Well, you'd have to have them all delineated too, right?
Well, you'd have to
Right,
come
yeah.
in, each one of them would say, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z to it. And then when its turn came around on the big wheel, they could go do it. I don't know, I guess. we
Perhaps, but, you know, I just,
Can, I
at a
don't,
bare minimum, we can bring up exactly what we're planning on doing, and then,
is there a time limit on something?
Yeah, I guess that's the question, is there a time limit on when an NOI permit's issued? by which it needs to.
Runs out,
executed.
right. I don't know what that-
We'll find
If you
that
want
out.
to start
Yeah.
now, or it'd be prudent to do it out of, when you get enough information,
Right.
I know what you're describing, yeah, and that's, you're just kind of staging yourself to get
Yeah.
it
So
going.
when they can get ready to go, they can go.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Of course, you can always maybe ask for an extension if it,
Yeah, we'll
I don't know.
Well, we can find that out. I don't know the answer to your question. It's a
I
good
don't either.
question.
Can't it be done as like, because you've done culvert work before, as an emergency, can't these 5 be considered as such?
I mean, if we had to, right, I mean, we know about it, right, so it's not necessarily an emergency. It is kind of better if we can work together up front to plan it.
Rather than do it this way.
But, I mean, it's there if one of the bottom 5, has
Right.
an issue like they had at Prospect.
I mean, if it got washed out in a big storm or something, then it would come,
Then it's an
then
emergency.
then you got the emergency.
Yeah, that would be accurate. So, but good thoughts.
All right.
So we can really love to get the stuff
Absolutely.
generated. Pre-Kalai, any input, any comments?
Only that, yes, because we know about these bottom 5s, it's not considered an emergency. An emergency is for an emergency. DEP does not like just handing those out. It's very hard to track people down. Once you give an emergency authorization, the nice thing about this one is that it's internal and interdepartmental. So there's very little going away, but if you could think about it happening on a private residence. So with that, I have no comment. January 15th works for me.
Okay.
If you'd like to, I can share the culvert report that we have from 2022, if you guys wanted to.
Be interested in that,
Yeah.
yeah, very interested in that, yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
If you want to send that to Tyler and I, Derek, then I can put that in your Google Drive, commissioners.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Absolutely.
Cool. Any comments from anybody, since nobody else in chambers, I'll just say anybody else on Zoom?
It's 2 people outside.
Yeah. All right, seeing as we have none, Roger, you want to give us a motion to continue the NOI for the Nicholas Drive Prospect Street culvert repair till January 15th, and we'll
7:02.
move Derek up to 7:02 because we got Daniel Street
There you
closed.
go. I'll make a motion to continue the NOI for Nicholas Drive / Prospect Street culvert repair to 7:02 on January 15th.
Second. Vote to continue.
Let's continue.
Continue?
Continue?
Continue.
Continue?
Abstain, I think. Can I vote on this one?
I think,
I guess, well, this came up before he,
no, it did come,
Yeah, this one's been around
it
for a while.
precedes you, Matthew, so
Yeah.
you're
we'll
right.
catch up with you pretty
I
soon.
will
Carl.
continue to
Good
abstain.
call. Yeah, okay, all right, good
We'll
catch.
find yours first.
All right, Derek, thank you for coming in.
Yep. There's another Prospect Street on there. Is that also me, or is that 2 points?
Oh, no, that, you don't have to,
Okay.
it's a resident.
Okay.
So thank you.
Sounds good, thank you.
Yeah,
Have a good holidays.
yeah, you
You
too,
too.
happy holidays. All right, with that, we will open the NOI for 1199 West Central Street. See, we got a hand up.
We got Ty and Bond's review of that, response to Beta.
Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
Hi. I'm Jean Christie, Principal Engineer with Ty and Bond. I realize I presented a couple months ago and then disappeared from you all for a couple months. So I think probably the best course for me would be to just give a quick recap of the whole project, since I know we haven't talked about it much in the past couple of meetings. Sound good?
Yeah, we're good with that.
Right. Can you see that all right?
Yes.
All right, so, again, this is for the Grelick Farms facility on West Central Street. If you recall, we have some flooding issues there. With West Central Street being at the bottom of the page here, and the Grelick Farms facility to the north here, we do have flow that comes onto our site from off-site, from Ray's Pond, or what we know is called Ray's Pond. And then a pretty big watershed, you know, on the south side of West Central Street. Water flows into our property, and then I'm gonna flow to the next one here, same view. Where water flows into a couple open channels, a couple culverts, and then through a culvert that goes through the building and discharges out to a wetland at the rear of the building. Kind of a story of what's happened, and you know, I've already reiterated some of this. We had a big flooding event about a year ago. The facility really withstood some significant damage during that time, and is looking to do this resiliency project. This really is, you know, not belt and suspenders. I think that was not the right word I used last time, but as a resilient, redundant system to get water from the front to the back. So what we're proposing is the inclusion of a 36-inch reinforced concrete pipe in addition to the existing 48-inch that we plan to retain. With some improved water quality treatment with the replacement of existing catch basins which aren't up to today's standards in terms of deep sumps and hooded outlets. Some of the things that have happened since the last time I was here was we did issue some additional information with some colored plans to the commission on October 22nd. I didn't present those at that time. We also added some drainage flow information. I know there was a question at that original hearing about how much water is flowing through each pipe. So that is in that October 22nd package. And then, you know, the end of November, middle of November, we received our peer review comments from Beta. So we have gone through all of those comments, provided a response to all of them, revised some drawings, give you some more information, and we added the monitoring and invasive species protocol to that correspondence as well. I have, you know, more detailed project plans to go through as there's questions. You know, we did receive our Mass DEP file number. That was the other exciting news. They did not have any comment. But that was one other piece that we were waiting for. But I'm happy to give more detail if the commission requires it, if you need more questions answered, or if you have a better memory than I do and you remember everything that we said originally, that's great too.
Well, let's, Bricolai, do you have anything you'd like to start off with or add?
Yeah, I just have 4 things. So Beta is currently have received the response letter, so they're going through that. Most of the things or any outstanding items are typically academic. I did want to note on 3 of those, Chair LePage, if you'd like me to bring those out now, or you guys can discuss the letter and I can follow up at the tail end of the conversation.
Well, actually, yeah, why don't you go ahead? Yeah,
Okay.
that'd probably be.
So I just wanted to point out to the commissioners that our bylaw does speak to a PLS stamp. The applicant has stated that they didn't get a PLS stamp because it wasn't surveyed by a public land surveyor. The applicant is requesting a variance. Jean, if you are requesting a variance, I need a letter from you following our variance procedure.
You got it.
So up to the commission to consider. And then I know Beta mentioned our best development guidebook for straw wattles. We actually condition no straw wattles, so it'd probably be best just to source a 12-inch biodegradable compost sock.
Yeah. Yeah, we just typically standardly request that, Gene. I know it doesn't lay that out in the bylaws, but that's, if you can switch that, I caught that too. Yeah, we really
No problem.
prefer not to have straw wattles. And I saw you pulled out the silt fence, so thank you.
That was all I had, so discuss away.
So, Bricolai, I was curious, and Beta will respond, but is, on the PLS stamp, that was just kind of interesting, right? Because what I was just looking for their commentary. Is
Happy
that,
to
is
bring
that
that up
pretty,
on the
pretty
screen if you'd
typical?
like.
Oh, there it is. It was additional sources, drone survey, partial. So is that pretty standard, that's how that would be done? I mean.
Procedurally, historically, for commercial industrial, no, the commission requires a PLS stamp. The commission typically waives that if it's a residential project.
Okay.
I thought their explanation of why they didn't have a PLS stamp was very well taken. I didn't know, and frankly, I didn't understand why you would have to bring a professional land surveyor out there to show you where you know perfectly well where they are.
Would it be to get them on record, though, by a certified land surveyor, right? I'm just thinking precedent procedurally, right? I mean, that's why I was curious on Bricolai's input. I think we typically ask that people engage a professional land surveyor. You know, and, I mean, there's, any decision you make, you run the risk of applying it to projects of all kinds of different scale. I mean, it's something we can discuss and consider. That's where I was coming down on it, is where we probably ought to look at that. Gene, would you guys be amenable to engaging a professional land surveyor to get that done?
The challenge with that is because the property's so big. That's a big effort to get the whole property line in.
Okay.
That would be my only reservation, that's going to take time and considerable dollars for a property line survey for this, and parcel this size.
Okay. All right, well, certainly a point to consider and discuss.
It says the PLS stamp should be provided on the existing conditions plan. I don't know.
If I may, the plan is titled existing conditions. That does not mean that it's been certified by a PLS. I just want to let you know that.
Is it part of our conditions and everything that a PLS do this? Is that?
It's part of the bylaw, yeah.
Application.
So you also have a variance procedure, which I had mentioned to Jean, so it's her right to request a variance for that. The commission needs the letter, but that's besides the point. So now it's up to the commission to discuss if you will accept the variance or not. And you need to weigh out the explanation and benefits, non-benefits, and go through your analysis. Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think let's get the letter, the request, Gene, right? We don't, unless anybody feels, adamant, I don't think we need to decide tonight, but it's definitely a point to consider. Beta will weigh back in on that as well, so we'll get input from them, we get input from Bricolai. Certainly understand Gene's input. I think it's, to Bricolai's point, just something in the balance we want to consider. So, okay. Everybody good with that? We'll get the formal waiver request and then see where we go with that. I think that was, can you be good with us conditioning, monitoring the restoration for 2 growing seasons? I think I saw that, right, Gene?
Yep, in our invasive and monitoring protocol, we
Yep.
do say a 2-year.
Okay. What else did I have? I think it might be.
I thought they answered most things, didn't they?
Yeah, there was a good amount. There was a few things. I think we gotta see what data comes back on. But at any rate, so. Okay. I think that's all I had. Anybody? All right. All right, Gene, anything else you feel you wanted to go through?
I don't think I have anything specific.
So, yeah, so.
I was hoping you all would.
No, I think at this point, we'd like to see Beta's next responses to your response letter, review that on the 15th. And there may be, out of that, something, I think we need to consider and decide on the PLS stamp. And then there's some other things I saw in there from Beta that we'll see what their response is, but may require conditioning. But I think that's at least in my mind, where I felt like we were. Everybody's got anything different, what it looks like you got.
You know, I will bounce it through Beta, but I think my initial thoughts is you're referencing, you're taking references to other sources when you develop the site plan, so I was just kind of taking a look as, you know, which ones were, you know, like how current was this information? I think that's kind of where I was getting at, but more of a discussion. I don't want to, you know, it is a requirement from our, you know, from our application too, so, you know, I think we're just going to have to see where, you know, what this all kind of looks like, if we can accept this, or if we do need a POS, so.
Okay. Anything from anybody online? All right.
There's actually a.
There is a hand
Oh, good.
from
Thank you.
Mr. Carlton Hood.
Yeah, thanks for the catch. I didn't see that in time. Carlton, what do you have for us? Is he unmuted or?
He is unmuted, yeah.
Carlton Hood, can you?
Right.
Yep,
Yeah, can you hear me now?
yeah.
All right, yes, my name is Carlton Hood. I'm the maintenance manager over at Gorilla Farms. And I've been there for like 35 years. You know, we wanted to thank the commission, officially, you know, for taking the time to go through all this. We wanted to thank Gene, at T&B, for all the hard work that they've done. You know, we're closing in on, I think, a year. This is, a very expensive, incident that happened, and it's happened more than once. And, you know, we get nervous every time it rains at this point. You know, we actually have people standing there watching this brook. We have a camera mounted on it at this point, because we want to, you know, we want to abide by everything that the town wants us to do, but we want to be able to resolve this issue as quickly as possible. But, you know, we wanted to take the time to just, you know, appreciate everything that everybody's done for this project, and, you know, and thank the commission and the commissioner for everything that they're doing. That's kind of really all I really have to say. I don't know if anybody has any questions about what happened or how it's happening, but that on my end, that's pretty much it. I know Gene has worked really hard with providing all the information, and there's been a lot of it over the last year. It's been a long year with this, but I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody, and you know, and you know, hopefully we can get this issue resolved as soon as possible.
Thanks, Carlton, absolutely. All right, with that, no other comments, right? Roger, you're up. No, did you?
Just did.
Oh, you just did. Nicola, you're up.
I give a motion to continue the NOI at 1199 West Central Street for January 17th at 7:03.
Yep.
15.
15.
Sorry, 15th.
January 15th, 7:03, okay.
Second. Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue?
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
All right. Motion's continued. Gene and Carlton,
Thank
thank
you.
you for coming in. We appreciate it. Thanks for the update.
Take care. Have a
Thank
happy
you.
holiday.
Thank you.
All right, and then we have our final NOI of the evening is for 80 Spring Street. Do you have anybody here from 80 Spring?
Actually, if I may jump in, I believe they asked for a continuance this morning.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, so with that, Matthew, I think
Yeah, I think
You're
this is a
on.
new
you've
one,
been around
so.
for 80 Spring, right? I gotta look at our chart. You wanna give us a motion to continue the NOI for 80 Spring Street to January 15th at 7:04.
Sounds good. I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 80 Spring Street to January 15th at 7:04 PM.
Second.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue?
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
All right, motion's continue. Good job. That concludes our public hearings for the evening. And then we move on to minor buffer zone activities. And our first MBZA is 151 Summer Street. Do we have anybody here from 151 Summer?
Yes, sir. How you doing? My name is Mike McDonald.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. How are you guys?
Good.
So I purchased this property a few years back. I've been in the process of renovating the home, and there's a group of trees in the back of the lot. I submitted two images with the packet. One of them is it looks like the plot plan is highlighted, the property line in yellow, and you'd be able to see that in the abutting property, there's what appears to be wetland and marsh that comes into my property just on the corner. But my plan is to remove some trees. Some of them are dead. Some of them are in the process of, decay and dying. Large branches have fallen. And I'm just nervous that I have a shed back there. There's a fence. Some of them are, leaning right towards those structures. And I also have a young daughter, and we like to go out in the back of the yard, so I'm just looking to get the trees removed. And they're kind of in a tight cluster. There's probably 10 trees that you could almost hug. They're that tight together. And then there's about 10 more that are spaced out a little bit more. And I tried to do a rough measurement myself from the property line to the first set of trees, which is, I submitted a picture of that as well, and it's approximately 80 feet from the property line. And the remainder of the trees are up on the top of the hill, over, 110 feet away. And I'm not sure if you can tell from the picture, but there is a pretty steep gradient from the upper, like where the house is, down to the bottom of the lot. That's kind of all. This is my first time doing one of these, so sorry if I don't have as good a presentation as the other people.
No, this was great. No, you actually did a really good job. Thank you for taking us through it. We appreciate that. It's helpful for us to be able to hear it from you and get the context. So, and we've got the pictures in our drive you submitted, and those were super helpful also.
Okay, great.
So how many trees are we talking? 20?
There's about 20 trees. Most of them are very tightly packed together. One of them is a real tall, dead, it's completely dead, and it's leaning towards the shed. And the arborist that I had come look at it said to just because of how tightly they are, for him to access the tree, it would be better just to remove all of the trees that are tight, close together. And then there's another tree that's in decay that's had branches fall. Those trees are a little bit more spaced out, but I just like to kind of clear that area of the lot. And there's still a good amount of trees towards the back of the lot that I'm not looking to touch at all. It's just kind of up near the house where we like to go outside. We just don't want anything to fall on us or on the shed or the fence.
So you've had an arborist look at this and give you some opinion of what should be done and what shouldn't?
Yes, sir.
Good.
And he was, I'm a first-time homeowner, so he was the one that mentioned that I should contact and get approval from you guys first, so that's what I'm trying to do.
I'm glad you did. And I think, Nikolai, you confirmed these were in the 50 to 100 foot?
Yep. So I'd recommend standard MBZA conditions, including stumps left in place. But that is a conversation for you to have with Mike.
So Yeah, Mike, typically, yeah, we prefer not to have stump removal. This, your conversation, we're looking at the picture, it looks like back of the yard there, so is that an issue for you? I mean, if it was in the middle of your front yard, we'd talk about it, but it looks like these are stumps you could leave in place. Would that be acceptable to you?
I mean, I planned on grinding the stumps, but if it's something that's not feasible, obviously I'd like the trees down, but if it's possible to have, and maybe not all of them ground, like if the ones that are closer to the wetland marsh, I don't really have an issue with that, but the ones that are up near the house more, would that be an issue of grinding those stumps?
So you've got some close to, it's tough to tell from the picture, so you've got some that are actually close to the house there?
I mean, there's a good distance between the house and the trees, but there's a cluster of trees that are the closest to the house. And then kind of halfway down the slope, there's another small group of trees.
So how
ideally, I would like to grind all the stumps, so it's a nice, smooth, clean lot, but, I mean, obviously, it's up to you guys.
So up near the house, you're trying to get some lawn up there?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of usable lawn, so I'm just trying to make the property, a little more usable.
Commissioner, so that is a different type of conversation then.
Different type.
Yeah, I was wondering, how many of these trees are actually dying and falling down?
There's probably like 4 trees that are dead and dying, but they're all real close together. The picture I submitted doesn't really do it justice. But if I took a picture from like up near the house facing down, you'd be able to see that kind of more what I'm talking about.
So there's 6 trees in your picture that have red marks on them. Are those the ones you're talking about that are clustered?
So those are the second group of trees where you can see almost where the blue line touches the bottom of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
That tree I believe is in decay. A large branch snapped off that and fell. It's kind of hard to see in the picture, but it almost took out the neighbor's fence there. It's still laying on the ground. So I just wanted to clear those out. But then off to the left of that image, up on the top of the hill, which you can't really see from that picture, but right next to the fence, there's a group of trees with more dead trees. And one of them's leaning towards the fence, the other one's leaning towards my shed.
And is that area that's already grass and you're mowing it? Or is it just wild?
Yeah, so up near the house, there's grass, but all the tree area is all just, there's no grass, it's just like dirt underneath.
Because we're looking at from the front of your lot to the back, right? Those trees are in the back of your lot, and we're looking from the front to the back of your lot? Or no?
Back to
So the photo that I took where it says approximately 80 feet, that's the back side of my lot looking to the back of my house.
So that's your house up there in the...
Oh,
It's on the
okay.
top of the hill or the, yeah.
Oh, I didn't get the perspective.
So,
Okay.
so those, just to understand this, so this photo's taken from, close to the wetland,
Right.
and then looking at your
Correct.
house, the back of your house, those dots over there represent the first tree line of the trees,
Now I
so.
got it.
And then from there,
there.
that point to where you're standing at is 80 feet.
Okay.
Did you pick 80 feet for a reason? Like, or is that just kind of like, I was standing here and, are you
I
looking?
just did like a step estimate
Okay.
from the property line to the trees.
Yep. So like right there somewhere, okay. Yeah.
but the remainder of the trees are much further up on top of the hill. So those, I just did that picture because I figured I would show you guys the closest point to the wetland marsh is about 80 feet, or the property line, I should say. I don't know exactly where the wetland marsh is.
So the trees with the dot, I think there's 7 trees there?
They're all clustered. So
Then there's one.
Yeah, some of them are medium sized. The other ones are real, like they're just small trees coming up. But yeah, they're all clustered together, and I figured, you know,
Some of
if
those
some
real
of them are
skinny ones
dead
you're
and-
counting as trees? Those real skinny,
that's,
Yeah, so
you're
I'm
counting
not
those as
exactly
trees
sure.
too? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Commissioners, we can't see what Tyler's bringing up, just FYI.
So
So if you could be a little bit more specific, so Mike could better answer your questions.
all right, well,
So those
All
don't
right,
hardly
Tyler's gonna
amount to
share,
anything.
so-
thanks, Bricolai.
So that,
Yep.
so that clump, all right, so I appreciate the explanation, Mike. I thought we were looking from a different perspective, so this is good. So that clump of trees right there with the dots on it, you can see it now, right, Mike, what we're looking at on your?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is real close to your yard there. So you want to take down that clump of trees and dig those stumps out, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you get that tree, as we're looking at this picture to the right, that's close to your shed. Is that got a dot on it too? I can't tell, or is that one?
Yep. Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. So you got those two, the larger tree and the 2 small ones on either side of it, are those 3 included in the 20?
Like almost in line with the shed.
Yeah.
No, so I would leave those. It would just be the big tree in front of the shed, and then the cluster of trees with the red dots on them, including trees that's up the hill more that you don't really.
Yeah, I see
you,
like 1 or 2 down.
Yeah, so the tree that's in front of the shed, we can't see the base of, but is in front of the shed. Okay. All right, I got you.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Some of those trees are hardly trees at all, are they? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I counted anything coming out of the ground, I counted, so it's, 20 trees or so, but some of them are kind of.
what, 2-3 inches in diameter?
Per a tree.
Well, the trees are also adding stability for the slope, so if you're taking the trees out, then you're gonna have erosion, so
No, not necessarily.
you,
I mean, would, yeah,
Commissioners?
yeah.
So Nicole's actually right. That is how that functions. The conglomerate of roots there are holding that soil together, or a big portion of it anyways. To drive this forward, might I suggest if you look in line with what the neighbor has and where their shed is, right? Much farther up gradient, closer to the house than Mike's here. Thank you. Might I suggest that if Mike is looking to grind out some stumps, you could probably approve the tree that's in front of the shed, considering it's lawn, but everything behind, the shed, if we were to draw a line from the front of the shed across, should be stumps left in place. And then that probably is top of slope there.
The only
Does that make
caveat I was
sense?
gonna throw in is maybe anything over an inch, right? Because I agree with you, Nicole. I mean, I think those bigger trees, Mike, you probably don't want to pull those stumps out. I don't know, Bricolai, those smaller ones.
I would not recommend it.
Okay. All right. So Mike, you could pull the stump out on the one in front of the shed, that grouping of trees there. We'd like to leave the stumps in place. Nicole makes a great point. That's a key component of stabilizing that slope there. So you pull that out, you're gonna have some erosion. So
Okay.
that would be the best thing probably possible, if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate that. So just so I'm clear on it, the tree in front of the shed, I can cut that and grind the stump. And then there are like a straight line across from that, anything closer to the house, essentially from the shed up, I can grind those stumps. But just not the trees with the red dots.
Is
Because those are,
what you're talking about, relatively level yard, where you're talking about grinding the stumps?
yes, the only trees that are down the slope is the ones with the red dots.
Okay.
So no trees on the slope itself?
I don't think so, no. I mean, it's kind of like a steady gradient up, but at where the shed is, the ground is, that's pretty much where the ground is like flat, going up to the house.
We can condition that way.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yep.
So,
And you'll get that in writing, Mike, so you'll get something in the mail.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, yep.
all right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but so it sounds like I see 8 dots in the picture. We've talked about those, and we're talking about cutting down 20 trees, so there's 12 more trees, and only one of them is dying or dead?
So there's 2 of them up in the cluster, and those trees are, you know, they're so tightly grown, it's, that was what the arborist mentioned, that we should take them all down, just because of how close they are, so we can access the dead tree, which is the tallest one in the group, and it's kind of like in the middle, but that's up on the top, like the flat part of the ground, up closest to the house.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
So, looks like what we'd be looking at is, to your point, Mike, the tree in front of the shed can go, stump can be ground, anything, and we'd find a way to put this in writing to you. Anything on the level ground, top of slope there, you could remove, grind the stumps, and then anything on that down slope, which is primarily the grove we're looking at with red dots, you take down, but leave the stumps in place to help stabilize that slope for you. That sound like it makes sense?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you very much.
I mean, we gotta, I just want to make sure we're clear, we gotta approve it, but that's kind of, I think, what's on the table. Everybody see it that way, or got thoughts? Go
Well,
ahead.
I see trees behind the red dots that are on the slope. Is that, are those some of them, of the 12 that we're not seeing? I'm sorry, I wish there was a better picture. Because there are some trees on the slope that are not marked.
So I marked the bigger trees on the slope that are closest to the wetland and marsh area. But there's a group of trees that in that picture off to the left that are up further, that you can't see great in the picture. But that's where the dead tree is.
Yeah.
That's, you know, stuff's fallen down, and the rest of the trees around it are, you know, smaller and very tightly grown next to the dead tree.
Well, I understand that. I just want to make sure that the trees that are behind the red dots are not on the slope, and that you'll be increasing the erosion coming down the slope.
Through the chair, is this something one of us could go out and agree which trees are coming down on site? Or is that not allowed?
Yeah, I think that's my, I'm just not unclear because there's one picture and it shows the beyond. I mean, there's other trees out there. And it would be good to just kind of, you know, ensure that we're not cutting off ones that are maintaining slope.
So maybe we could do, right, is we could, and again, just thinking ideas, right? Love to move things along for residents. I think we got a solvable situation, right? May we ask him to give us a better indication of which trees will have, so we can potentially approve the MVZA with the condition that you'll come back to us with specifics on which trees will have stumps left in place and which ones will be moved. He didn't know that coming in.
Do you want, to Roger's point, do you want one of us to go out to?
Well, we could, Eric, we could organize a site visit, or he could maybe even submit a couple pictures, so we just, I think that could be reasonable, but I think if we condition it that way, and then we, I think maybe the best move is, Mike, if you're open to it, you submit a few more pictures from some different angles. We look at that, but we give them the approval to get going on this thing. But you indicate to us with the pictures, and then we'll, that'll be a condition of how it gets done. I mean, Brinkle-Eyes, that seemed like you might have a better suggestion, so I'm coming to you, but that seemed reasonable to me.
I think she might have had to step away for a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, no worries. All right, so, I mean, you guys good with that? So we'll approve it with conditions of stumps left in place on any tree that's on the hill or the gradient. Mike, would you be able to submit some better pictures for us so we could get a better grip as to exactly which trees you're gonna take down, which stumps you're gonna leave in place? Would you be able to do that for us?
Yep, absolutely, no problem.
Everybody seem good
Yeah.
with that? Okay. All right. So,
How high up do we want the stumps?
usually, when we're talking about we can talk about it, but a residential yard, they can put them flush, right? I mean, it's the guy's yard, so. If it was, say, last time we did this was, I don't know, 1 or 2 meetings ago, right? They had some trees that were in the yard, and then they had some trees that were in the woods next to the yard, and the woman was willing to leave, I can't remember, a certain footage. If they're in the woods, I think that's a fair ask, but if they're in the yard, it's kind of nice, I think they'll let them. But that's an opinion, so it's up for grabs if you want to talk about it.
No, I just thought we should define it, because
Yeah.
it's a loose term.
I
Yep.
think they should be a little higher, because they need to accommodate for, like, if there's any soil being moved, it needs to accommodate for that. If you have it flush, then the soil is just gonna come up over the stump.
Okay.
So if it's on the slope, then you would want it probably higher up.
I mean, I was thinking roots would be the key,
Yeah.
right?
When you grind a stump, you typically don't do the roots. You just take the stump.
Right, but he's
And so the
gonna,
roots stay in there.
But he's okay leaving-
And do their
Right.
thing, but if you just cut it down to maybe 2 or 3 inches above the ground, you should be all right.
okay. I mean, is that, so, Mike, you still with us? We lose him.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you good with leaving the stumps about 3 inch, let's not say about, say, have the stumps be left 3 inches above ground? Is that okay?
That's for the trees that are down the slope, like the closest to the.
Right, the one, you're gonna either grind stumps or leave stumps 3 inches above, yeah, just on the slope, yep,
Yes, that's fine.
okay.
Just to clarify, the other gentleman mentioned that if the roots stay, you can grind the stumps. Is that an option or not?
No,
Okay,
No, we need to leave, yeah, so,
okay, yeah, that's fine.
good question. Okay, so, we're gonna approve the MBZA, and the way we're gonna term it is for, the tree that's in front of the shed can be taken down and the stump be ground. Any other trees that are, above the slope and gradient, and on level ground can be taken down with the stumps ground, and then anything on the slope, the trees can be taken down with the stumps left in place 3 inches above the ground. And you are gonna, before you do that, send us pictures with a couple different angles so we can better identify which trees are gonna fall into each of those categories. Does that make sense to you, Mike?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Am I able to send the pictures to Tyler or Rika Lee?
Yep.
I have their email.
If you send them to,
Okay.
if you send them to Tyler, that's exactly what we need. Yeah, if you could do that over the next couple of days, it's not a big deal, that would be great. And I think this is a good plan, and we can prove the MBZA. Everybody good with that? Okay. All right, so, who's up? Move that to Richard, or, yeah, you just did it. I see, Richard, give us a motion to approve the MBZA for 151 Summer Street.
I'll give you a motion to approve the MBZA for 151 Summer Street
With conditions as stated.
with conditions as stated.
All right. Second that?
Second.
All right.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
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 All right, Mike, thanks for talking it through with us. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming in and being upfront about it.
Thank you all very much for your time. Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy
You
holidays.
as well. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. 381 Prospect Street. I don't think Rudy's here, but this is an easy one. We've got good growth on the spot, so I think we're good to approve this MBZA. He did a nice job. He put a little erosion control there, so I think we just conditioned having the erosion control removed in June of 2026, and we're good to move this one along. The guy actually did the work, so. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Louis, you want to give us a motion to approve the MBZA for 381 Prospect Street with the condition as stated?
Yeah, I give you a motion to approve the MBZA for 381 Prospect Street with the conditions as stated.
Second,
All right.
vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve.
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 All right. So that's good. And then we've got an RDA for 9A Marianne Drive. Did Preeta Line make it
She's back.
back? All right. And-
Yeah, I'm back. It looks like Nick is online with
I
his
see
hand
Nick- I was
raised.
gonna say Nick's got his hand up as well, so good. Hey, Nick.
I just promoted him a panelist, so I might need to go into.
Yeah, let him connect.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good, how are you guys?
Really good.
Jesus Christ.
Thanks for coming in. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so my name is Nick Hebel with Conoco Engineers and Scientists, representing Massachusetts Electric Company for this project on 9A Marianne Drive in Franklin. Essentially what happened is just over about a little over a month ago, there was a storm on Halloween and it knocked down a utility pole and a transformer. The transformer actually had damage and it was conditioned to spill. So now, Massachusetts Electric went out and they cleaned up the spill and they replaced the pole. They did this kind of as an emergency project because there's wetlands that are approximately ballpark 25 feet away or so. And with the pole coming down, the homeowner lost power. So they wanted to make sure that nobody's out without power. So they went ahead and already did the work. So everything's been completed. We submitted kind of like a notification letter, kind of letting the commission know what's going on or what had happened. And we worked with Bricolai, and she mentioned that it would be best to go forth and put in an RDA to kind of let you guys have an opportunity to see the project and see what happened. So if I can share my screen, I can show you a little bit about it in a little more detail. Can you guys see what's going on?
Coming up, hold on. Yep, you're up.
Okay, so I think approximately where this little red box is where the pole was and the spill material. You can see in these photos, I might be able to make it, hopefully you can see. Right here is where the pole was, where the red bag is, and that's the bag transformer. As part of the storm, I guess, I'm assuming this is the tree that kind of came down and kind of took the line and took the pole with it. That's another view of the pole. This is the area that was backed out. They took all the contaminated soils out and kind of like tested as they went, as their process is, to make sure that there's no more contaminants, knowing, especially because the wetlands are not far, they wanted to make sure that they cleaned the site and left it in good conditions. But it's about from the pole, maybe about 15 or 20 feet down the driveway. This is all previously impacted area, as the driveway, it was put in at some point. So it's already a disturbed area. It's not like they had to take out any vegetation to really do this. I think they did a light bit of trimming for the new pole to go in, at most. These photos are a little fuzzier because they're a little small, but this is what it looks like after the replacement was done. They came in and put some soil back that they removed, so they went a little bit around the pole, and then down the side in that area. The wetlands, as seen on the screen here, are to the south of the driveway. Like I said, I think it's about 25 feet. We didn't go out and do a formal delineation as the work was already completed and it seemed unnecessary to do so. Under the WPA, this work would be exempt under 310 CMR 10.02 for maintenance, repair, and replacement of utilities, but we understand that Franklin Commission does not waive that under the bylaw. So currently, we're seeking a negative determination as the project has been completed. I don't think there has been any substantial impacts, only essentially temporary impacts due to the project, and the wetlands were not impacted because the work was completed in buffer zone.
Well, thanks for going through that, Nick. Hey, just curious, what kind of contaminants do you get from that?
Oil.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Nothing good.
What kind of contaminants come out of that transformer? I was just curious.
Yeah, that one's out of my league.
All right, I was just curious, that's all right.
I think they got oil in those transformers.
Yeah, that's what I,
Yeah.
all right.
You
I'm not
could
sure
tell us.
exactly what's in there, but I can't imagine it's anything that you'd want.
Nicole could tell us.
In a transformer? No,
Yeah.
I can tell you what's in a NMR and everything else.
Yeah, nothing good.
Nothing good. All right. Regal Eye, any comments?
None for me.
All right. Any questions? Pretty cut and dry. So, who's up, Louis?
I guess so.
Yeah,
Did I?
No, I think it's Mike.
That's Mike.
Oh, yeah, did you do the last one?
I think so.
Oh, you did, actually you did do that. All right, so you want to give us excuse me, a negative determination for the RDA for 9A Marianne Drive.
I'll give you a negative determination for the RDA for 9A Marianne Drive.
Second,
All right?
do we vote approve?
Yeah, we're approving the negative determination.
Approve the negative determination. I'll never get used to that.
Approve.
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 Approve?
Approve.
All right, Nick, thanks for taking us through it. Appreciate it.
Great, thank you guys so much and happy holidays.
All right, permit modifications. Louis, you're gonna,
Yeah, I'm gonna recuse myself on this one.
because Louis is in a butter, so he has to step up.
I'm gonna butter this.
Yeah, all right.
You can listen.
All right, so do we have the applicant here from Tri-County?
We do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Really well.
Steve Powers from Semiotis Consultants. Good to see you, Mr. Chairman, the rest of the
Hey,
commission.
Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Sorry, my video isn't working right now. I'm trying to see if I can switch it. Well, let me get started. So we have not been in front of you in quite a while. As most of you know, the building and the high school project is well underway. We're currently in the phase of constructing the building. Interior work is ongoing. A lot of the site work in the rear, in and around the high school building itself is done and installed, especially the below ground work, the detention systems in the rear. We've also moved forward, and we did this earlier in the process with the lower parking lot. Part of that was more of an emergency to accommodate by removing parking For the students, we wanted to make sure that we got this, the lower parking lot closer to the main drive, built and installed. So I can happily say that the infiltration systems and water quality units and stormwater components in general are installed. The football field and track have been installed as well, so everything is moving along at a rapid pace. Everything is on time and on schedule. But we're here tonight because the school has asked if we could make a change to the approved notice of intent plans approved by the commission back in August of 2024. I did have some preliminary conversations with Greek Ally. We thought an amendment to the order would be the best course of action to present to the commission and get any comments and feedback. So if I can I share my screen.
Tyler's giving you, yeah, you should be able to now.
Can you see my screen?
Yep, you're up, Steve, yep.
Great, awesome, thank you. So what I have here, and the changes are essentially to the rear of the building, to the east side of the building. So the red box that you see was a space that was carved out as a slab for a maintenance building that the facilities director and the school wanted to install. So we did go through the process, and we got this location set and approved. And one of the things that the schools wanted to do was, in order to kind of address the program and the wishes of the facilities director, is move that section of building. And I can switch to the proposed areas right now. So this is essentially what was submitted to the commission. We submitted a layout plan for detail, but we also submitted a utilities and stormwater plan for the commission to review. The green box you see up in the northeast corner is the relocated maintenance building. I can tell you that the maintenance building footprint is essentially the same. There is an increase of about 3,500 square feet of impervious area associated with the parking, the drive aisle and a couple parking spaces adjacent to the building. The reason for that is there is a pretty significant slope that we needed to accommodate in order to get this in. So we needed to create a driveway to get up into this area in order to house the equipment and some of the school facility equipment that's needed. So the program itself and what is being housed in that area hasn't changed. What has changed is the location. We did go through and rerun our hydrology model through HydroCAD. There is no change, or I should say a de minimis change, which would require no upgrades or changes to the installed detention systems that are in the rear of the property, or additional water quality units. Everything from the asphalt does still continue to run through the asphalt, run through the water quality units that were installed. We've kept all work outside of the 100-foot buffer. There is a wetland, a BVW Series E delineation that was flagged as part of the original flagging. We did not include this as part of the, I think we included it originally as part of the ANRAC application, but because it was on a separate property, even though it was owned by the town, we ended up pulling that out. However, that wetlands delineation has remained along with the associated buffer zones. So this is the perimeter control that continues along the rear of the property all the way down, right along the edge of the 100-foot buffer. So we're not encroaching any further into the 100-foot buffer zone at all. I do want to point out also that the watersheds themselves hasn't changed, and I think that contributed to the hydrology model not changing. So therefore, again, no increases or upgrades or changes to the stormwater management system that was installed and approved as part of the approval process. And the last part I want to bring up is what we wanted to do, if a lot of the commission members were on when we went through the original approvals, we do have this wetlands replication area that we're proposing down in the southeast corner. All that remains unchanged. And what we wanted to do was make sure, one of our concerns as we were doing this was making sure that the wetlands replication area would have a water budget that would allow it to thrive and maintain the existing plantings and any kind of wildlife, that may reside in the inundated conditions there. So what we've done is essentially this roof all pitches to the back. We've added roof leaders and a gutter all the way down, and instead of tying it in the shorter run into this system here, which would be, the detention system itself, we wanted to run this clean water all the way down through here, and then outlet at the beginning of this vegetated swale to continue to feed and make sure that, we're trying to provide as much water as possible to the wetlands replication area to make sure it's successful for, first couple of years and perpetuity.
So you have an underground
Yeah.
culvert to move that water from the shed to the replication area?
I'm sorry?
Do you have, how's the water getting from I think that's a great idea, but how's the water getting from the shed?
Okay.
Is it an underground culvert?
Sure.
Is it that red line there?
We're essentially, we're proposing.
Jesus, that's small.
Pipe as a collector.
Yep.
And running this and piping it essentially.
Yeah.
All the way down to this. And then because of the elevations, we're able to daylight it. So not only is it getting runoff from the tributary areas around here to feed it, we're also getting it here, and it's at the beginning of the vegetated swale as well. So we're getting, quality water heading in and then feeding the wetlands replication area.
Okay.
Looks like an 8-inch pipe.
Okay.
It is.
HDPE.
Is it going through a catch basin?
Correct.
Because you're saying clean, where's the catch basin?
So there's no catch basin because we can pipe it directly. So we're tying in, back up here. We're tying into this drain manhole. So it's all going to be run, it's going to be a closed system. So there's nothing open to the air because it's being picked up by gutters and then run underground. So it's all piped, and then it will be piped through the drain manhole all the way down south to another manhole. We wanted to interrupt the flow, and then daylighted down in this area here on the southeast corner.
So then what is the roof material made from?
The roof material is made of, don't have that. I apologize. I got the architectural drawings, and I don't have that answer off the top of my head. I can find it as we go through questions.
Because if I'm not mistaken, that you can't just have that running into a resource area because it's coming off of a roof. It should be treated, no?
It's a good question.
So in general, the roof itself is considered clean runoff, so it does not need to be treated. We did this similar to the building itself, where we're directly tying into the system itself. We don't have to run it through any kind of water quality unit.
Regalai, any thoughts?
None for me, just due to the nature of the project, I would recommend the permit amendment.
Okay. And that, you concur with the roof runoff narrative?
Yes, yeah, yep.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
Yep.
Any other All right, so, Roger, that makes it you, right? We're gonna approve the permit modification for Tri-County Vocational Technical High School.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to the Tri-County Vocational Technical High School CE 159-1291.
Second.
All right,
Vote to approve.
approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Steve, thanks for taking us through that.
Of course, and it's good to see you again. I'm sorry you couldn't see me.
Sorry, good to hear you.
Everyone have a great holiday season.
You too, Steve. All
All
right.
right, talk soon. Thank you.
Violations enforcement, 8 Bogastow Brook Lane. So, actually had the resident email me and asked me to come by and talk to him about what we had been discussing, and had a great conversation. Richard went by as well. Had a great conversation with him. Oh, sorry, yeah, you want to grab Louis? Thanks. Thanks, Roger. So what we talked about is there's wood chips down, right?
Wood chips.
Mulch, whatever.
Don't know why he ever put them down. but
Yeah,
I think that's what he finally figured
he
out too.
said, I never liked these things anyway. So he actually loved the idea of replanting that area with a native species mix. And the landscaper, as we talked to, is amenable to come and pull the chips up, use them in another project. He's already done some work to repair the path where lawn clippings were going back. So the good thing is, I'd say he's totally on board. Makes no sense to pull the wood chips up now because we just end up with.
Oh, you just destroy the area.
So what we thought we'd do is just extend the enforcement order 90 days, get us into March, and then we'll try and get them going. And the resident and the landscaper.
If it ever got cold enough to freeze, he could go do it, but.
Yeah, but might as well just, but everybody was on board, so problem solved.
Good.
So, Nicole, you want to give us a motion to extend the enforcement order for 8 Bogastow Brook Lane for 90 days?
I give you a motion to extend the violation for 90 days at 8 Bogastow Brook Lane.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, right?
Second.
All right. Vote to extend?
Vote to approve.
Extend.
Vote to extend.
All right.
Vote to extend.
Vote to extend?
Extend?
Extend.
Extend?
Extend.
All right. Then we get the minutes from October 30th. I took a look through, didn't see any issues. I don't know if anybody caught anything.
Just want to note it on I think it was on October 30th, when we were, 444 was presenting on the new elevation for the flood, and that it still met the requirements. So I just want that noted. It wasn't in the meeting minutes, and I looked everywhere, so.
Oh.
I just wanted that to be added, because it was an important, it was an updated finding, so I just want to make sure that it's captured on the minutes, that it was brought up, but it was covered.
Okay.
So I didn't see that on the minutes, but I just wanted-
Do you know?
Would,
Go ahead, Bree.
oh, sorry.
Nope.
I was gonna ask if, Vice Chair Puga, if you could email that to me,
Yeah, will.
the specific wording you'd like, because I make those changes after we get them from our minute taker.
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good catch.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. So Matthew, you want to give us a motion to approve the minutes of October 30th?
I will give you a motion to approve the minutes from the October 30th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
All right.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve?
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
All right. And then November 13th? See anything there?
Nope.
All right. Richard, back around to you.
I'll give you a motion to approve the minutes for November 13th, 2025.
Second that?
Vote to approve.
Approve.
Approve?
Approve?
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
All right, so then we're on to discussions. We've got the Franklin Town Forest trail crossings.
I can hardly wait.
Can I,
Chair LePage, would you like to jump to 121 Grove Street since they're waiting in chambers? And then we could come back to my presentations after.
Yeah, actually, that's good, because since discussion, we can do that. Gentlemen?
Thank you very much.
How are you?
Yes, good.
121
Right,
Grove
so
Street.
well, go ahead, I'll let you guys talk. This is an open discussion.
You want me to just go ahead and
Yeah.
introduce myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm John Shipe with Fairfield Residential. Bernie McCann is the general superintendent on the construction right here, and Brian McCarthy, you might remember, he's our civil engineer.
Yep.
So thanks very much. It's been about a year and a half
Yep.
since the project got approved, and we did want to discuss a couple of things, but in general, I think both sides probably acknowledge that good communication, face-to-face, meet and give you an overview. That's a large part of what I wanted to do this evening is
Sure.
just let you know what's going on site.
Okay.
And to Bricolai, thank you for your help recently. Tyler also, and happy holidays. I submitted a letter November 18th.
Yep.
And I'll just go through it.
Yeah.
Primarily, again, the first part is just to let you know, we started submitting documents back in, I think, April or May.
April, yeah.
We had I took the order of conditions and I go through it. My job at Fairfield basically is to say, let's stay in compliance.
Sure.
So there were 3 or 4 or 5 things back in May that we addressed. Brian wrote you a letter telling you that Bernie McCann would be the general superintendent. He's the contact person. We also submitted evidence of our NIPD's permit. We gave you an idea of the schedule, a couple of photographs. So everything has started off great. We had a pre-construction conference about 6 weeks ago, and we commenced the weekly inspections. So just as a general overview of my letter, in general, today, we're almost done clearing all of the trees.
Mhm.
So it's if you've driven by, it's a dramatic effect. We're installing utilities. We're going to then tackle a couple of the building pads, and I think we might be pouring foundations probably in the spring. Is that right? Yeah. Bernie has been with us for a while now, and he's got lots of experience in this. If you or Bricolai or Tyler want to make sure that, Bernie's the type of guy will stay very much in communication with anybody who has questions moving forward. And Bernie also has a NIPD's, the erosion control. SWIP certified.
Okay.
In addition to, and I'll get into that right now, in addition to R.G. O'Connell performing inspections. So the erosion controls were all installed, and we submitted a letter with photographs and stamped by a PLS. There are a number of conditions that speak to the erosion control inspection. So I think you probably know that's probably a large part of what I wanted to discuss this evening.
Yep.
Condition 18, 19, 23, 41, and 53 have, when we craft them all together to determine what the total scope is that we're paying R.G. O'Connell to perform for us on a weekly basis. Condition 18 is inspect the erosion controls on a weekly basis. Condition 19 is to have the NIPD's SWIP permit, which also has its own conditions. Yes.
It does say on a daily basis.
And on a daily basis, yep. And in other places, it says weekly.
Okay.
So we have that's why we're kind of folding it all together.
Okay.
Bernie's.
We do a daily inspection every single morning.
Thank you.
And then the weekly inspections, R.G. O'Connell's coming out. And do you have copies of those?
Yep, I do.
I don't know if it helped, Mr. Chairman, if everybody hasn't seen an actual copy of one of our inspection reports. It's several pages long.
If you have one,
Yeah.
I have several I can
Yeah.
hand them up.
Yeah, sure.
I'll keep going.
Yeah, please do, John.
And then there's conditions that say we are to submit them every other week, but I think we're emailing them every week. We're copying Mike Maglio, the town engineer, as well.
Yep.
And of course, you know, there's also a local soil erosion inspection permit that we were required to get through them as well. That's like a $8,000 task there. Condition 41 says that we're inspecting barriers weekly and after certain rainfall events. We're also doing that.
Thanks a lot.
So there's a lot of conditions that require inspections that speak to this, and we're following each one to a T. I mean, we know an ounce of prevention's, you know, worth the rest of that you know, pound of cure. And so in October, Tyler emailed me with a proposal from Beta Corporation.
Scope and fee, yep.
Scope and fee for about $44,000, and I was a little caught off guard because I didn't know what it was about. And it's not any condition that speaks to paying that fee for any purpose for erosion control inspections, and I think we really have it covered very thoroughly. So one of my requests this evening is if maybe the commission could rely on your condition 29 that says that if there are any impacts to the wetlands, if anything bad happens, you reserve, you know, you can implement additional inspections by somebody else, you know, if we ever come to that. So if tonight you decide that we don't need to pay for the third-party inspections, it certainly doesn't remove your opportunity to invoke it at a later date.
So, hey, you know, understand your request, right?
Thanks,
You know,
yeah.
From our perspective, you know, it's much like during the NOI process, right? You've got on-site experts, resources to take a look at things. We rely on Beta as our own third-party expert. And this is traditional, you know, any 40B project in the town, right? We've gone through the same process with Franklin Heights. So, you know, so there's a couple things in play here. One is consistency and precedence, right? I mean, this is the way that we manage things through this process in Franklin. So understand the request, but unfortunately, I'd say not inclined to forego it because A, this is part of our jurisdiction and the way we handle this, and B, we rely on Beta as a third party to bench check all of this information as we do throughout the NOI and the construction process. So I can't speak for the commission. I would just say my inclination would be for us to maintain that. Because historically, that's the way we do it, and because having Beta involved as a third party is pretty key to our process. So I just want to, you know, you can comment, but you know, if any of the other commissioners have a thought or you know, just voicing an opinion off the top.
Carol LePage.
Yes.
If I may, just before the commissioners deliberate, so they have all the information, I did include an email from our town engineer, Mike Maglio, explaining why he believes we do need the stormwater inspections. And then also in the pre-construction meeting with ZBA and Gus Brown, the agreement was because Hancock, who is the peer reviewer for ZBA, was not reviewing stormwater, they feel very strongly as well that conservation maintains that jurisdiction and there should be stormwater inspections. So again, that email is in your Google Drive and you can review it at your leisure.
I would agree on that. I mean, it's not a surprise thing. It's to protect us.
That was part of the original agreement, wasn't it?
Well, you know, so here's what I would say, just.
Or wasn't it?
Well.
It was not.
So there's a variety of opinions on that. So as a way to, in our opinion, it was, John says no, and that's okay, everybody. you
Yeah,
know.
sorry to interject like that.
What's that?
Sorry to interject, I shouldn't
No,
have done that.
John, that's
Yeah.
fine. What I thought we would do, just to clear it all up, right, is part of our standard conditions, which were applied. We do have the ability to implement additional conditions, right? That's a right we reserve as part of the conditioning process. Just to clear it up, what I thought would be the best thing to do is we'll write it up specifically as a condition. That way, everybody's got it in writing, there's no questions, and we can vote on that as a permit modification on January 15th. And that way, it's just crystal clear to everybody. Understand the difference of opinion.
Yeah, if I could.
Sure.
I mean, it is a surprise. You have 63 conditions, and there would have been ample opportunity in mentioning inspections in 5 or 6 different conditions to tell us that you wanted to hire somebody else to do what's going to be $90,000 worth of inspections. It's $44,000 a year.
Yep.
So this is a huge surprise to us, and I've been working in Massachusetts for 30 years. I've never, ever had a commission come to us after the order had been issued and say, oh, and by the way, we would like another $100,000 for anything,
So definitely.
or any dollars for anything after the fact.
And respect your position, John. What I would say is, to the Mike Maglio email, Conservation Commission had jurisdiction over stormwater for this project throughout, right? It's fairly customary for whoever maintains jurisdiction over stormwater to implement inspections during the construction process, right? So, there's opinions that this was discussed verbally at a pre-construction meeting, yours did not. I get that. My point is, we're not gonna argue that. We could, but I don't see any productivity. Our position is, this is traditionally the way we handle things. There's good reasons for it. We got backup from the town engineer. We're just gonna clear it up and put it in writing.
Okay.
It's too bad there was confusion over this. It certainly was not our intent. We didn't feel it was coming that way, but that's what happened, so we're gonna rectify it. I mean, that's my opinion. Again, we'll make sure we have a consensus, but that's what I'm suggesting. Okay. So that's our proposed move forward, revisit it at our next.
I do have,
Sure, go ahead.
so Beta's coming out how often?
Let's see if I have the scope and fee.
For his fee, it sounds like he's coming out a lot.
Well, that's, Brigalow has her hand up.
Oh, Bricolai, you want to comment?
It wasn't on to that, you can keep, looking at the scope and fee, but I wanted to mention that, again, so we do it for Franklin Heights. It has been fairly productive. There are things that slip through the cracks no matter what, right? Beta works for the town. It's best to have eyes, and support from the town. To that point, and to respond to you, Mr. Shipe, about the cost, what we have worked out with the developer for Franklin Heights is actually you pay incrementally. So you don't need to cut a check for the entire amount. You could cut a check for $20,000, for example. We keep that, and then when we need to continue inspections, you cut another check. So it's not as big of a hit.
So that's where we are on it, and we'll put the condition in place on the 15th, and that way we'll all be on the same page.
So we don't know how often they'll be coming out compared to that price?
We could find that out. I thought it might be in the scope and fee, it wasn't, but we'll get an answer to that question.
And maybe they could come out less and the price could go down. Maybe once a month instead of once a week.
I think what they're proposing would be best management practices, right? Which would be fairly standard. So I don't want to speak for Beta, but I would probably doubt that less is going to be the way to go, right? I mean, we've engaged in this in a very similar project at Regal Eyes Point. We found it very productive. We could find out what the cadence is. That's a fair question, and we can get that answer. But they're the experts on this, so we're going to rely on their recommendation of a cadence. Certainly not insensitive to the financial cost, but our priority is thoroughness and making sure it's done right. We don't necessarily control the fee structure. Again, we're not ignorant of it, and we don't, take it for granted, but we've got to look at different priorities. And I think we'll probably get that.
Thanks. To that point, then, what if, sorry to take work away from R.J. O'Connell.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, I'm doing this weekly, so am I still doing this weekly and reporting weekly?
Or could we get a little relief on that side?
That is correct. Under the current conditions and the SWIP, you have to do your own inspections anyways. There's a discussion, sure, to be had about the commission, since they're already doing a permit amendment, changing their local conditions, but you have to do it under the SWIP.
And that's, yeah,
So
that's what.
It's a fact check and a town protection, which is why we're doing our own inspections.
So.
Same thing for
So
you.
we're not
you know,
asking, we're not asking for relief from anything from the NIPD's SWIP. This is everything that's in your jurisdiction. Yeah, okay.
Understood. I would think what I'd like to do is talk to Beta a little bit more about their process and timing. I'd want to think about, understand the request, right? So we'd be permit modifying that. Personally, I'd want to think about that and consider the ramifications.
I agree. I think we ought to think about this a
Yeah,
little bit.
it's a fair point.
Talk with Beta and
Capture the request, and so your
kick it
request
around a
is,
little bit.
could there be some relief from your inspections? Okay.
Well, I would say too, under the EPA, NPDES, the SWIP requirements are very strict. And we're held to those requirements. So it's not like we're, I know it sounds like you want to check what I'm doing. Okay, I understand that, but we are under strict rules under the NPDES permit to do these inspections, so.
Yeah, okay.
We're not just doing this, there are strict requirements, so we have to follow.
Understood. Okay.
And Brian's firm also performed them on our prior project, Dean Avenue, in accordance with all of the NIPD's requirements at that time. I don't think the commission required these types of inspections on that project. So that's, what I'm going on is also our history here.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have every full confidence that their firm can do a good job.
You also have to understand that he does a great job, but if we do it for you, we're gonna have to do it for someone else. And
Yeah, again, I was somebody else on Dean Avenue,
Yes,
and
you
nothing,
were.
nothing was
Yes, you
done
were.
there. Nothing was required in that
Right.
project.
Right.
Yeah, I would say, again, we're probably not inclined to, relinquish our third-party overview on this, but
Okay.
is there's some, relief on the other end? I don't know the answer to that, but that's something we can take in.
Okay, we'd appreciate your consideration of that.
That's a fair question, so, okay. Well, thank you for the update. Oh, the other thing you had on there was the rock salt, right? Do you want to talk about that real quick?
There were a couple of conditions that require we come to you and show you what the signage is to be and where it would go for no mowing and no salt.
Yep.
So the easier one is they're both pretty simple. The zoning board has a condition that there'll be no salt anywhere on the
I
property.
just saw that. So you're not going to use it anyway, right? So you were going to put that, I think, at the entrance, right?
Right.
So that makes sense to me. that the entire property is a no-salt zone. Bricolai, you get a comment on that? That seemed feasible.
No, that seems pretty academic.
Yeah, okay.
Does anybody use rock salt anymore anyway?
Oh, yeah. I see it a lot.
You do?
Yeah, the downstairs.
There's a couple
Is that- okay.
a couple
Oh,
parking
yeah.
lots I've been in the last couple of days that I've seen it.
Go to any intersection.
I thought it was
Stop sign.
the other stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was the chemical they used a lot of, right?
Yeah.
And then the other one was the mowing one.
No mowing, right?
28 signs proposed. I think that, I mean, that sign seems to,
Yeah, they're generally scattered throughout the property where you would want a sign that tells somebody not to mow it. Right, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, they were required in the areas where we want to keep native growth in the buffer zones and around the replication areas.
Bricolai, any comment on the mowing signs?
No,
Okay.
good for the commission, it's good for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that looks acceptable, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're good with what you've proposed on the signs and the placement, so thank you for following up on that.
And there'll be others as they develop,
Okay.
as project proceeds, and a couple other things to submit eventually.
All right, great.
Chair LePage,
Yes.
so to confirm, you would like a permit amendment on January 15th?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And the amendment is likely to require the beta inspections,
Right.
according to the proposal, and possibly consideration that relief, some sort of relief on the other conditions relative to the,
So we want to invest, I don't want to.
Not committing.
Saying that there's
Hey.
potential, we're going to investigate. I'm not sure of the
We'll
ramifications.
talk about it.
Ramifications
talk
of
about
that
it, yeah.
request.
Yeah.
We'll definitely investigate it. We captured your request.
Yeah.
Talked to Beta. Just want to, it gets into some areas that I want to make sure
Sure.
we're doing the right thing. So we will consider the request.
Yep.
100%. I can tell you that.
if I could capture that, any scenario where there's two engineers performing an inspection in the same week is probably redundant, whether it be Beta or RJ O'Connell, but at a minimum once a week, possibly to consider that maybe it's alternating or something to that effect. But again.
We're going to find out what
Yep,
Beta's
I understand.
cadence is anyway, which
Yep.
is another good question. So we get good, that's why we're here talking about it, right?
Yep.
But, okay, great.
All right. Well, I didn't have anything else, so,
Yeah, no, that was good.
Thank you.
I appreciate the letter in advance, appreciate you guys coming in.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
okay, and happy holidays to
Happy
everyone.
holidays. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
All right, so now we can move on to the,
Bridge.
the bridge.
Yes. So also in your Google Drive, there is a scope and fee for the Franklin Town Forest. I did ask Beta to look at all trail crossings in the Franklin Town Forest, figuring if we're gonna do one, we might as well just look at all of them. And it'd be a good winter project. So the total scope, sorry, moving you guys, is 7,300. That does include one meeting, just FYI. So you could take it or leave it if you would like them to present on their findings. Otherwise, I can as well. More than happy to do that. A report preparation, that's pretty self-explanatory, and then resource area delineation and existing conditions assessment. The first iteration of the scope and fee did include GPSing the trails, but I said we pretty much have those GPSed really well and documented with our own GIS department, so I asked Beta to remove that. But we do need resources delineated. So I am here asking for the commission to accept the scope and fee for 7,300.
So the 7,300 is to review all the forest trail crossings and get back to us on,
Not the trail, yeah, the trail crossings, yep. So wherever there's a crossing of a resource area, which there's a
i.e. a
lot
bridge.
out at the town
Yeah,
forest,
yeah.
yep.
I mean, it's probably not a bad, actually, it's a great idea. I mean, we might as well get a grip on this thing, right?
Yeah.
And then it's all of the existing conditions with all of the crossing structures.
Then we'll know,
So it's-
then we'll know what we're dealing
well,
with.
we know what one of them is.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. But it'd be
Yes.
good, would be good to get a grip on the whole thing.
There's,
So we're in charge of trail crossings.
Well,
Evidently.
Correct.
it's
We,
our,
there's some open space that the Conservation Commission manages, right? So we're responsible for everything in there. That's why I kind of like this.
So we're bridge people.
We are bridge people, we're trolls.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, so what else are we in charge of? Delcart,
Maple Street?
Maple Hill,
Maple Hill.
Maple Hill?
yep, Maple Hill.
I think they're.
Then you have a bunch of like 2-acre, 3-acre properties in town.
Yeah.
You know, it's a really good resource to look at, the open space and recreation plan maps. I can pull it out for you though, so you don't have to look at all 300 some pages, Michael. But those are the named ones. Riverbend, is a conservation area. So that is completely under your jurisdiction. What else?
What about-
Those are all the big ones, yep.
What
We ought
about
to have some
the-
staff out there someplace.
And so I can't.
Wouldn't that be nice, Richard? Yes,
Yeah.
now you're talking.
Let's talk budget.
Did we hit a sore spot there?
Let's not.
Yes, I think we
Do
should.
I'm just wondering if we should look at any other areas, but I guess I can't think of any bridges in any of the other areas except for the pontoon bridge in Delcart.
So they have.
There's some on Maple Hill. I've walked out there, there's a few little dirt bike trails that have wooden bridges over
Yeah, but-
ditches. It's a bridge.
Yeah, but if I may.
You might be
Maple Hill
surprised,
actually is a sore
Mike,
spot.
when
That
we get
just
the
got
report
master
on these,
planned.
what they,
What's that, Brigitte?
I was gonna say Maple Hill actually is a sore spot, so that just got master planned, so a lot of those bridges that were built in Maple Hill were not ever sanctioned by the Conservation
Yeah,
Commission.
What was the one in Town Forest? No.
no.
somebody just put it up there.
Right,
just to
and,
make
The
it
town
convenient.
forest was,
Oh, it
but
was?
Maple Hill was not,
Oh, I thought
so
that
was-
those may or
it
may
didn't
not be
look like-
staying.
What about,
But to your,
sorry.
go ahead.
No,
No.
behind Dacey's Field, the Frisbee golf area,
Yep.
there's, resource areas out there. Is that also?
So, that's jurisdiction, but it's not conservation area.
Okay.
Yep, and then to your point, Michael, I think it would be really good to assess other properties. My first step with that was to get forest stewardship plans on all of them, because that opens up grant funding, especially for boundary markers and things like that.
Okay.
Habitat improvements. I will say though, let's start perhaps with this one project and then
Yeah.
keep going.
Thank you. I guess another question
Yeah.
is, who pays for the bridges?
We would,
That's an overall.
Wow, okay.
Oh, Roger, too soon, what did you say?
Sorry.
you could put it in you could request it as a capital budget line item. You
Yeah,
could go
that'll
for
work.
grants.
Or CPA?
Or CPA, yep, for sure. That's a good one. Oh yeah, you're on yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna say that at this meeting. Anyways. Sorry, ethics. Or there's like mass trail grants. So there are opportunities.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny out of this bridge thing. It's an interesting project though, right? I mean, you start thinking about, there's a lot of open space that we're responsible for, that there's a lot of implications,
Yeah.
right? So this is kind of a neat way to start.
Yeah, like, there's stuff that needs to happen at Delcart. like the pontoon bridge, the left end of it, that's pretty treacherous right there.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
like a pothole.
You gotta be thinking about when you're walking down there, else you're gonna be
That
get
really needs
surprised.
to be repaired. And there's, plenty of other opportunities.
I think we even talked about it, right? There's the part of the path, on the, what is that, the far north side that was going too close to the, remember doing the open space project, too close to the water line there. So there's a lot of opportunities. So this, getting kind of a grip on it.
Start small.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's good because there's a lot out there. So I'm in favor of supporting the scope.
Might as well.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, everybody good? All right, we're good to go, Bricolai.
Good. I will CC you on my approval to the finance department.
All right, all right.
While they know.
Thanks.
All right,
Okay.
and then we've got 79 Hancock Road. So this was kind of interesting. We talked about this previously, so there is, speaking of conservation managed land, right? So there's a resident with some conservation managed open space next to his yard, and there's a dead tree in the conservation space that he wants to take down. The problem is, to get the equipment to take down the tree, it could be tricky, because they'd have to drive through the guy's yard, maybe across the driveway. So we didn't want to engage the tree service ourselves, because then we would, potentially be dealing with liability for whatever yard gets torn up. So Bricolai had a great idea, I'll give her credit, I hope you don't mind. She said, we can have the resident engage the tree service themselves, and then we'll reimburse them.
Oh, yeah.
And that is possible. That's what we're looking. Is that accurate description, Bricolai? Did I not screw that up? Is that good? All right. I think we may actually have.
Did we get the bill yet?
Well, we're just want to approve the fact that we're going to do this.
With a limit.
Yeah, that's,
I think we've got.
yeah.
No,
So-
tree services, I bet you.
Do you know what estimate, like,
$2,000
like-
tree.
I'm gonna reach back out to him. I haven't entertained the idea because I didn't want to get the poor guy's hopes up.
Right.
So he's gonna have to get 3 estimates.
Yes.
And then whatever the lowest one is the one that we're
But you guys
capping.
amenable to moving forward. I guess so the bench checkers will get a hard price, but we're
tree,
good
I
with
guess.
that process.
Like that.
All right. Keeps us out of hot water. That's always good. All right. And then we've got the Delcart year-end report.
Yes, I'm gonna share my screen here. Also, hi, good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I decided now that everybody's left Chambers that I'll show my face. Yeah. Okay. You see my screen?
Yep. We're still
And
online
you
though.
can you see me? Do you see this inset too?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, that's annoying. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
if I-
weird.
Long way away.
There we
Oh,
go.
now it's gone.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So for new commissioners, I guess, within the past year, since 2016, the Franklin Conservation Commission, which I guess, Richard, were you on Concom at that point?
What was the date?
15.
2016?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Okay, you're all new. Delcart used to be riddled with water chestnut and
Yeah.
milfoil, both invasives. At the time, the Conservation Commission decided to start treating both of the ponds, well, 2 of the 3 ponds anyways, with chemical application. As of last year, the commission decided to go away from the company that it was currently using to this new company called Water and Wetlands. Personally, I am much more impressed with Water and Wetlands. So this is their year-end report, which they're required to give to you. You do pay for this treatment out of your funding. So you can see at the end, this is in your Google Drive as well, there's a handy dandy map where they map the survey of where they found. Currently, right now, water chestnut, the milfoil, has been primarily eradicated from previous treatment, which is great. A couple things on this report. If you wanted to go back into December folders from last year, the years prior, you can see the other reports from, I'm sorry, my brain is still reduced by 20% gray matter, so I just don't think, I can't think of words anymore. But anyways, you can see previous reports from the previous companies. They did a really good job at looking at the actual square footage of plants left behind. I will say that this map and this report doesn't really quantify how much water chestnut is here currently existing, or what the acreage was that they started with versus where we are at the end of the year. That is feedback that I'm going to give this new company. However, where I feel like they really make up for it is they not only do chemical application and treatment, but they actually hand pull water chestnut, which is a beast and a burden, and ultimately the way that we would like to treat it, right, versus continuing to put chemicals into the water system. So I really like that they did that. They also, somewhere in here, started commenting on the Phragmites and the, what's the other? Anyways, some of the other invasive species that they've noticed where the previous company did not. So a little something to be desired, but overall, I think their vision and their care is probably more in line with our direction.
It's good to hear, yeah.
So more details on that. There will be another contract, I believe, in 2026.
So the only thing you mentioned that you wanted from them was just kind of like the before and after map of what that looked like on your.
Yeah, and just more qualitative data about
Yep.
where it was, how big it was, like what, I want to know how well that chemical treatment or chemical
Like
application.
how it's working and all that.
functions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good to have that. It's like, and,
Well, anybody that will hand pull that stuff,
give them a gold star.
I would have to say,
I
yeah.
think they had pictures of it, of them pulling them out or something. I think maybe one of the earlier reports, but, yeah, it's labor intensive. Stuff doesn't just go away.
Well, it would be nice
No.
if maybe we could, if we know how much is there, then maybe we could put together some kind of an organized event in the spring. So people.
To go pull what,
I
not we?
thought of that. Do you know what my response is going to be?
What?
Liability.
Oh, because they do it at.
Because you'd have to, I know, but we'd have to put people in kayaks.
Yeah.
Or in waders. Yeah.
In waders,
no,
oh.
I've
yeah.
vetted that one already, trust me. So, I mean, it's up to you guys if you want to take on that liability. It would not be me.
We'll pass on that.
But you could pay people to do it. I mean, there's that.
That's what we'll do.
Does this
pay people.
company, I mean, they're pulling some of it, will they do more, or is it something that are they just doing a little bit at a time, or will this company?
So they go out multiple times throughout the year.
And,
Yeah, go ahead.
well, I was just wondering if we could just have them go out and just pull it, like, just to get rid of it, like.
Definitely something we could ask them when and if you re-up the contract, yeah. So similarly, you could just ask to pay for them to go back out more frequently.
No, the report looked really nice.
It would be good too to know when they do pull, what is the volume that they're physically pulling?
They can weigh it or something, weigh the bags.
Yeah.
Just give us a,
That's interesting, right? Yeah.
You know,
I mean, they must
two
bag
weights
it
for
or
1,000.
something, right?
And what percentage?
Yeah.
Like Nicole, you're looking for 100%. Like, are we getting 50% a year, or are we getting 2% a year?
Right.
I think you probably got to get the roots with it when you pull it, right? Otherwise, it's just, well, you're getting rid of it, but
Well, I think once you start pulling it, the roots do just come out, but it's just there, you have so many thorns and whatnot in them.
It's gotta be tough to get that stuff out.
I'm gonna be YouTubing this tonight, just to see how it looks like.
Michaela did it over the summer, she was helping with Charles River.
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah, and they were pulling it in canoes and, yeah. She said it was hard work, but she liked it.
Yeah, I guess that's gotta be hard work.
You could just dredge it, right?
Roger, don't blaspheme in
off
chambers. Like, Rob.
Isn't that what they did in Beaver Pond?
Well,
All right, that's all I had.
Good job on the new company. That's nice.
So I do, yeah, I know it's not our jurisdiction, but Schmidt's Farm, I know the bond came down, and I go by there often, and there's multiple dumpsters that appear to be covered now. Is that the bond, and do they plan on eventually getting rid of that, or? It's been sitting all summer.
Yes, that will eventually be carted off-site and
Okay.
disposed of properly, yeah.
Thank you.
is it precious stuff? Or are we going to save it, or?
I doubt it.
No, not to my knowledge. I don't think anyone's gonna save what's in the dumpsters. I tried,
they leaving
I
them?
tried at the.
They're
to
paying
save
rent
some
on
of
the damn things.
All right. So I think we are a
Well,
wrap.
you know that,
Go ahead.
that the land use commission or that I
Yeah.
got put on?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We've never had a meeting yet.
Well, It was community preservation, right?
Community.
That's the ones that are gonna pay for our bridges. So that's your thing, Richard.
You missed that meeting?
We haven't had one. I actually went over there. I said, are we ever gonna have a meeting? I said, I'll let you. I was told very emphatically that they'd let me know when they had one. Well, they're not really too.
It's on a need-to-know
All
basis.
kidding aside, though, open space is one of their areas that they spend money on. Historical preservation, open space.
Well, they gotta meet to decide that at some point in time. It's been 6 months. So,
Is it, I would think there would be like something on the agenda, like the town website, where they, like, they'll meet like every so often, nothing like that? Like, they don't meet up?
no, I went over and talked to, up on the 3rd floor. She says, no, I'll let you know. I says, I'm good, okay.
Their last meeting was May 5th,
You missed.
so, yeah. I'm sorry, Bricolai, go ahead.
Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, Jamie's my boss and I will happily send him this recording if I need to, but I do appreciate, Richard, how you impersonated his typing.
Was that accurate?
I mean, he can type, but I have seen him do that, yeah. It's pretty good.
So they met twice in 2024. That's
Yeah.
just interesting.
Twice a year.
Yeah, well, they met August 20th and December 18th of 2024, and they met May 5th of this year. I didn't know, I didn't know much about it.
So I attended and proposed pickleball courts.
Good man.
Twice now. I went to
Did
the
the ones that
went to
got
one
built
in-
or the other ones? Did you
No,
get-
yeah, there's 4 more coming at some point.
All right. Where?
Pickleball courts?
King Street Memorial Park.
More
I bet
there.
those people
Good.
are looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Is it close to anybody's house?
Yeah,
Yeah.
King Street Memorial Park is surrounded by houses.
Oh, boy. I wouldn't advertise that I was involved in that then, if
I'm
you
an
didn't want to
avid
get
pickleball
shot.
player and a huge advocate.
Well, they have courts there right now, right? Like they have
Yeah.
like two of them?
Only two.
Only two, okay.
And they're
So
very-
Always
we need
full.
more.
Very
yeah.
well used, very popular.
Yeah.
Very popular. You can
It's-
reserve them too.
Yes, you can. Off hours, yep.
What about, Earth Day?
Earth Day's coming.
It is coming.
Never too early.
Did you?
I was, I kind of threw a suggestion out to Jeff before he left, and, because he didn't seem to, really, be in favor of it that much, I guess. Being polite is, and, I did tell him that, I should look into it for this coming year, which is now. And, I was thinking more of a place like, Delcott, the parking's an issue. I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if we teamed up with maybe the Ag Commission and did something at Schmidt's Farm and could possibly have like a tractor show there of antique tractors and
Yeah,
stuff.
I like that.
Draw people in.
I like that idea a lot.
But I really hate verbalizing this on a recorded meeting now, but
Now you're,
you touch it, you own it.
Is there parking there?
Well, that's what I was really gonna kind of follow up on, how much parking is there too, but I
So
know
there's
on
a rough cut parking lot that's just laid stone as part of it, yeah.
That's awesome.
As
isn't there a
part
big
of making
pasture
sure
or
everybody
something there?
doesn't get
They
slapped.
just cut a hole in the fence and say, right there.
Well, there is no fence.
Oh, okay, that's
Um,
open.
Let me follow up and see the plan for Schmitz, because I know before we had the
Who's
new
your
town
friend?
council, right, it got approved, the master plan. And right now, we're just waiting for the new town council to get settled and get a little air beneath their wings, and then we can circle back. So I think Schmitz Farm is a good idea. Just let me perhaps after the holidays, check and see where it's gonna shake out by April, to see if it's feasible for people to, large groups to be there.
Yeah,
Well, I was also thinking like the town center, because the town does things as well, but if the whole town kind of pulled together and we just do it in the center, like, that they do for all the other events, it would be very nice if the town just came together and, show a force of how important our resources are.
In DPW's Ground Zero, Beaver Pond, I thought, no?
Yeah,
The rec
so
department.
typically the commission, and that's a good idea, Nicole, and I think town common is really nice. The whole point about being out somewhere is that you're at a conservation area. So you're demonstrating to people the places that they could go as well.
But they're not coming, like,
What was that, sorry?
but they're not coming to those areas. They would come to if we had more departments and stuff, like the fire department and everything like that, like maybe up in the center, more people would come, and then, we could have.
Sure. Yeah.
I agree with you with, conservation, but we didn't really have a very good turnout, so.
One
Yeah.
thing that's kind of germane to that I think I recall from the open space project was information on the open spaces in town, right? And I thought, we have a good amount of information on the website, but there seemed to be maybe a demand for hard copy brochures, right? There's a percentage of the populace that isn't gonna go seek it out on the website. So, I don't know whether printed pamphlets are the right thing, but I'm thinking if we had an event where there are more people and we could advertise this stuff, and get more people out to those spaces, then we could do an event at those spaces where people are coming. I don't know, just.
We could put up our sign and put our
Right.
table and our sign and our umbrella out there and say, here's Conservation Commission, da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Kind of, it'd be a neat thing for the farmer's market. I don't know, now that you're talking about it, like, getting that word out there. Especially if we're gonna engage in this project where we're gonna do trail improvement, right? you know, and even, I mean, here we are, I mean, I have the same question. What spaces does the Conservation Commission manage, right? And I think we've talked about it in the past, but have that all in one place that we could articulate it to residents, that's got some value, I think, right? You know, I don't know.
So I do actually have an 11 by 17 map always available at our counter, and not this, I don't know what was at the farmer's market this year because I was on leave, but especially with Meg Hagan, when she was leading a lot of things, I always had those maps.
Okay.
So as far as pamphlets and maps and handouts, the only thing is that the return on investment on those is very, very low. You are right, at the open space plan, there was specifically one person I recall saying that they like hard copy things, and I've never seen that person come in to grab them.
Yep.
So it's always difficult because.
Yeah, balance that
It's just-
out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I have them is my point. So I have them made. If you would
Okay.
like copies on your own, if you would like to carry them around with you, please do. You guys have more flexibility of going into, I don't know, like Big Y across the street and putting something up on their cork board than I do.
So I don't know who was running the, we had the Earth Day cleanup here in town, and we went to Beaver Pond, and they were handing out shirts, they were giving out donuts. And it was great because it was like the meeting spot where you check in and then go wherever your area around town and clean up. I always felt like that, and there was people coming and going too, so it'd be like, all ages. My kids were there. So they just kind of attract, or at least kind of piggyback on something like that too. Also share information and kind of, blast it out there too. It could be like a table, and it's like, while they're getting their shirt, their donut, and getting their map of where these areas are. And also, I think some of the conservation areas were on there too. I'm sure there were. But, it's kind of like we're also kind of sharing that information as they collect, their bags too.
Well, maybe we can do I'm sorry. And maybe we can do challenges too, like how many trails can you find, or how many, like to get people out and seeing everything that we do, like instead of showing them a map, like, have like some kind of a challenge for them to see how many trails they can do in a day, or, something like that.
Come look at our brand-new bridge.
Exactly.
There you go.
So there's
Or, go ahead.
I just lost my thought, but I think there was a challenge was the, like they have, not, the ladybug, they have the ladybugs here in town, like that's like a challenge here.
Ladybug trail.
Yeah, so they, you spot the ones that are on the buildings and around town.
Scavenger hunt.
It's like a scavenger hunt. I haven't done it in a while, but I used to geocache, so I used to like go around and find things. But it was exciting because you would go around and, find these things in the woods. There's some in Delicart too. That was, my daughter got excited about that one. But it's just, things to kind of bring, folks out to these areas. And I think that's, just to recognize that we have these areas, so.
Well, back to the rec department puts on that. They have their own.
Was that the rec department? Okay.
And and they give out T-shirts and bags and gloves, and they assign areas to go clean up. And I remember last couple of years, there has been a table there, like 350 Mass, or whatever that green group is.
Yeah.
We could set up a table there too. And
Yeah, why
maybe
can't
partner
we?
with them.
I just want to step in, and I don't mean to Yoko Ono anything, but the rec department cleanup is very prized, and I have tried in past years, and we still end up elsewhere.
They wouldn't even let us set up a
So,
table? Is that what you're saying?
Happy to try. Huh?
They wouldn't even just let us set up a table right there?
I'm happy to try again for this next year, and I can push it a little bit more, but it is definitely a 1 and 2 department sort of led event.
Beaver Pond's pretty big, we could just,
I love that, Nicole.
At the entrance.
As long as we're 100 feet from the pond, you know what, they can't say anything.
Maybe they need some motivation. Should we go over and say,
You still gonna do that cleanup in the water?
Yeah.
No, noted. I mean, it's, I guess, you know, that's a, not an issue, but, they want to keep their event.
Yeah.
Could we still have it at the same day? I mean, like we'll have it at our de la carte, or do you feel like it should be like a separate day entirely?
I feel like it should be one Franklin event. I don't know
That's what I
why
agree.
different departments have to have different events.
Yeah.
Why can't we just partner with them?
I mean, it's not about the department, it's about trying to get everybody like out
Franklin's
there and
birthday.
the environment.
Doesn't sound like they want us, Mike.
Well,
Well, I think part of it too was the idea to use it to draw people to conservation land. I think, Nicole, you made a good point that, we were trying to do the poll, maybe we change gears and do a push for a couple of years, right? Like push out information, trying to get people out to those spots. And I remember now, Rico was talking about that, we've got some decent information. It's just kind of how we use it. So maybe we could even just like take a look at that during discussion at the next meeting, right? I mean, just we need to look at it and see what we think. But I think there's something there, right? I mean, whether, I think, I don't know, to your point, the rec department's gonna grouse, but hey, maybe it's the town common this year, right? I mean, that's a pretty heavily trafficked deal, right?
Well, I mean,
So,
one town that we lived in, they did like an amazing race type of event, and we had so much fun as a family, and, you go to all these different places, and you do all these challenges, but it could be like, you go to this trail, and you try to find something, or
yeah.
and then you come back, everybody circles back to the commons, and, we,
Like
Like a giant cookout.
They could be a junior conservationist and we give them a T-shirt, right?
yeah, it's
Kids
something.
love that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
if you hit,
That's super fun.
Yeah,
right, if you hit every conservation land over the course, so you go there in the morning, you get your little guidebook, you go hit
Yeah.
each spot.
you
take
find
a-
like this tree or that
Yeah,
plant.
take a picture of yourself, post it on,
That's right.
whatever, or just take a picture, whatever it is, and come back and get a junior conservationist T-shirt.
go to Riverbend, take a picture of the
Yeah.
waterfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Roger
Go to
said.
Indian Rock and stand on the rock.
That
and take a picture
bridge
of
that
the
we're
rock.
trying to repair.
Yeah, exactly.
Not walk on the bridge.
Take a picture, follow up.
But that
Don't go over it.
That
No.
is fun, I mean, to a huge,
Just take a
people
picture.
like that stuff though, right,
They do, right now they're having, during the month of December, I think her name is Amy Adams, she's on the Franklin Art Association or something like that. She's a very good artist, in fact, she did some of the boxes that are
Yeah,
around
the
town.
transformer.
She does a picture every week, and she starts dropping clues, I think, on Wednesday. And on Sunday morning, between 8 and 11, she'll put the print out. And whoever gets there finding all the clues, they get the print for free. Like this past week, it was at Oak Street School, so, I've been following the clues all week, and one of the clues was, it's on a oak tree, or it's on a tree, it's built on a tree, but it has no leaves. And a couple of the clues kept hitting towards Davis Thayer, so I said, it's gotta be Davis Thayer, it's got to be. Right? So, Sunday morning, my wife and I were just chatting about it, I says, I'm going up to Davis Thayer. So I drove by Davis Thayer 3 times. It turned out to be Oak Street School. Oak being the tree. With no leaves, and that's the school was at. But we could do, maybe we could get something with Corey Shea through the cultural division, that once a week in April or March or May even, something gets dropped somewhere in town, we start throwing out hints.
There you go.
And Steve Sherlock would post these hints every day also,
Yeah.
and it would start drawing people, and then at the end, you could have the big event and that's where the prize would end up.
Well, I like that, yeah.
That sounds like fun,
Yeah, the one event
as long as it didn't get out of hand.
Look, Maple's here, future conservation.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, this year,
Hey.
she must have got up for the late news.
Oh,
She wants the food truck. Would you like me to put Earth Day on the agenda for Jan 15th?
Yeah, let's do that, and if we could maybe just grab some of those conservation land materials, it'd be great to just look at that. I think it's just a good topic to revisit all the way around, because like you said, we haven't talked about it a bit, so it's a good idea.
That sounds good to me.
Is it good to you, Maple, too? Maple?
She says yes.
It's like, yeah. That's
Yeah, I got a pen now.
I'm not sure if that's.
That's awesome.
Looks like bad parenting.
Oh, boy.
As she pulls it out from you.
Oh.
Underparenting.
Roger's been treading some dangerous ground.
Well, there's a
here.
distance between us.
She can't get to me.
She can't come through that TV.
Oh, man.
Are we done?
Yeah, well, I think that was
we're
good.
done.
So we'll
I
talk
think we-
more. Yeah, so, our motion to adjourn, I guess.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Good to see you, Maple Brickley. Thanks.
Bye.
Mike,
Recording stopped.
Recreation Department is in Parramatta School now.
They are.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had